Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the E37 podcast. Now I got myself Hector, also known as CN6, and with me I got the legendary Hav.
What up?
And we are going to be reviewing. This is going to be, I guess, a little bit different. We're going to be reviewing the first and second episode of Secret Invasion in this one pod. And I know you guys asked for separate episodes, but it's just because that one weekend we were busy and we couldn't do a review, so we're like, okay, you know what, we're going to combine these two in this one episode, and then obviously from then on out we're going to do the singular episode thing. But before we get into it, guys, I just want to let you guys know you guys could listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Make sure you follow our socials at HeRayVision Podcast. Go to HeRayVisionPodcast.com. You're going to see all of our links through there. Also, make sure you follow our second YouTube channel called E37 Clips. That's where we'll upload all of our clips. Or if you don't have enough time to listen to the whole, if you don't have enough time to listen to the whole podcast, we'll post all the highlights through there. Make sure you follow our main page called E37 to stay up to date with any geek news and films, TV, and video games. The socials are at E37 or go to HeRayVision.com. You're going to find all of our socials. All the links will be down in the description. And yeah, let's get right into it, man. Secret Invasion. Just me and Hav. Oh, we forgot. And yeah, Mario's not with us. He's in where was he again? Switzerland or some shit. He landed in Switzerland the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, bro. He playing The Witcher 3. That's crazy.
What?
The Witcher?
That takes place in Switzerland?
I think so.
I don't know. I've never played it.
I think so. My Witcher fans, I think so. Yeah, he went to Barcelona. I mentioned it in our last review. So yeah, he's not gonna be here with us. But hey, man, it's Marvel related, man. If we gonna be real, it's gonna be just me and Hav either way, man.
That's bogus.
Hey, even Mario knows, man. Mario's just there for the vibes. He's like, yo, I don't even know what the fuck going on.
When's he supposed to be back?
I have no idea. I think he's gone maybe like a week and a half or something.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, so he's gonna be gone for a while. But I think he'll be back for like the last couple episodes for Secret Invasion. No, yeah, because Secret Invasion ends like what, mid-July?
At the end.
At the end of the July. Okay. But yeah, guys. So also, we're not gonna do a non-spoiler review for these first two episodes just for the sake of time. So spoilers. We're just gonna get right into it because we have, we're reviewing two episodes in one pod. I don't want to make this like super long. So yeah, we're going to just dive right into it. Secret Invasion. I want to talk about when the trailer first came out, bro. And I think we mentioned this too. I think Josue mentioned it in one of his questions in our previous pods. He said that it gave like heavy like Winter Soldier vibes. Mm-hmm. And I got that too. I think you said so too, right, Hav? You said
when I saw the trailer, yeah.
And to me, I thought it was like, when I felt that vibe, and I was actually pretty excited.
Yeah.
Like this looked more like grounded. It looked more, I guess, the type of, how do I explain it? Yeah, like Winter Soldier, maybe even Netflix's Daredevil, where it's like more serious and
it's more grounded.
Exactly. And many people might not like that. I think like it's just you and I, that we really like the whole dialogue stuff. Like we don't need like constant like action.
Sure, yeah.
And stuff. But many people do. And even the reviews. Hav, do you know anything about the reviews? Like the reviews were bad.
They were bad?
I heard that. I heard from the critics. Yeah, critics were not liking this, like in Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
Oh, I did not know that. I didn't see that they were bad.
Or what, like mediocre?
I just thought people saying where it was good but not great. Like people were just saying that, that it was just good. But I feel like nowadays you go on like Rotten Tomatoes and just you look up reviews, and I feel like everyone just, they all say the same thing about MCU projects nowadays.
Oh, never mind. It's like mediocre.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, I actually like the first episode though. Like I think a lot. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I know there were some people that I'm trying to remember his name, but if you'll know, man. He messaged me saying, "Yo, a lot of people were saying that Secret Invasion first episode was lame or whatever. It was just boring and stuff." And I just saw it, and I don't know. I think they're crazy. I thought it was good. And me, I haven't seen it yet, bro. Like, I'll let you know how it goes. And yeah, I could understand why some people might think like it's boring,
Mm.
because if we're being real, nothing really like there's not like constant stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
But I think that's like self-explanatory when it's a show,
Yeah.
because then it's like near the end, I guess that's where it's gonna start heating up and stuff.
Yeah.
And even then, I thought this was a good introduction to this to Secret Invasion and what's really like how serious this shit is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially the ending.
Yes.
We'll get into it. But yeah, this opens up. Hav, do you want to quickly explain like how this opens up? And even the intro, I thought it was a good like representation. Like, oh shit.
Oh, basically we see Everett Ross, you know,
Yeah.
and he's back. So we know him from like the 2 Black Panther movies. He made his first
Yeah.
appearance in Civil War, and he's basically talking to this other guy who we don't know, and he's like a conspiracy theory guy who's
Yeah.
basically talking about how there are people out there impersonating as people that we know, and they're living amongst us, and this and that, and basically it just kind of breaks down what essentially the show is about, which is based off the comic line of Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Which is that these shape-shifting alien species called Skrulls have come to Earth many, many, many years ago and have blended in as just one of us for all these years.
Yeah.
And he brings up a point of like, what if the person that you thought you knew, that you trusted with your life and blah, 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 turned out to be somebody else, turned out to be a
Right.
shape-shifting alien that like you thought was a real person.
Yeah.
And so basically they're just breaking it down and stuff like that.
And Ross like ends up taking away something, right? Like,
It was like
remember
some
what that-
plans. It was some clues or something. They said there was like something like some document of information.
Yeah, and I think that guy that he was like arguing with kind of knew. I think he knew. Oh shit, Ross is an op.
Yeah.
And then that's when they start fighting, and we're like, yo, what the fuck's going on?
There's that whole chase sequence.
Yeah, the whole chase sequence that's happening. Because he ends up killing that guy. Yeah, right. Yeah, he ends up killing him.
Yes.
With he shoots him and stuff, and he ends up running off, and then we see someone else chasing after him, and we're like, yo, what the fuck's going on here? And now we see them, on some Daredevil type shit, jumping over the rooftop of the buildings and stuff. And then Ross like ends up fucking missing one of the jumps and ends up falling, bro. When I saw that, I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck is going on, Ross? What's going on, buddy? And the fact that he was still like kicking, I was like, yo, what the fuck what is up with this man? And then the person chasing him that came from behind, who was that again?
It was Talos.
Talos, right? And this, but what was his human name? I forgot his human. I could have sworn he had a human name.
I don't know. That I don't know. I just remember his real name because that's what they always call him.
So yeah, he comes up from behind, and then the girl, I think her name was Maria
Hill.
Maria Hill. She was in the car, like, they were like, how do I explain this? She went into the alley and then she saw Ross fall, and she gets out the car, and then right behind Ross is Talos.
Yes.
And that's where she's like, yo, what, Ross? She's like, Ross, what the heck? And then Talos ends up changing to, because who was he? What? Like, he was just like a random person.
He was
and
just
he
like
changes back to like his human form, right?
Yeah. He was some other human.
Yeah, and
being person.
Yeah, and then he transforms to like his main human form.
Ben Mendelsohn's character.
Yeah. And she's like, yo, you're one of them. And he's like, nah, bitch. He's one of them. And we're like, yo, what the fuck? And then we see Ross transform into the Skrull. And that's the introduction to the first episode. And that's where I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Shit's crazy.
I'm like, holy shit, like what the fuck? I thought this was actually Ross. You know what I mean? And then before we started the pod, you were saying,
yeah, bro.
You go.
I was basically telling Hector that I kind of have a fear with this show, dude, because Secret Invasion, like in the comics, basically how we explained is how this alien species that can shapeshift to whoever, they have infiltrated Earth a very long time ago, and they were able to like weasel themselves into like SHIELD and into all these different organizations. People even went as far as to get into high power of the government, like even like being even the president or a governor or like a secretary of something, like all that shit, right? And I was telling Hector that when I saw that Everett Ross was really a Skrull, I was like, okay, so I'm confused. Was Everett Ross always a Skrull? Or was this a Skrull impersonating Everett Ross? Because there's a difference, because that means that the real Everett Ross is out there doing him, and that's the Everett Ross who we saw in Civil War and both Black Panther movies. But now, so like, is it one of those things where like, was this supposed to be some grand reveal that, oh, Everett Ross was actually in reality a Skrull this entire time? And the reason why this is such a fear of mine is because like I'm just afraid if the MCU, bro, like, are they gonna do some weird shit where they're gonna tell us that some of these characters who we've seen for years, like, that we've grown up with, that we've grown attached to, that there's gonna be like, oh yeah, like that person was actually a Skrull.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I was telling Hector, I'm like, you mean to tell, like, what if they just, what if episode 3 of Secret Invasion, like, oh yeah, man, this whole time Rhodey was a Skrull. Like, what?
Nah, that'd be crazy, man. I think that'd be too much.
Exactly, but like, I'm afraid that that's the direction they're gonna go. Like, I don't want to like find out Nick Fury was a Skrull this whole time,
right?
Like, even though I know he's not. Like, he's obviously not. But I'm saying, like, I just don't want a situation like that, because then I'm gonna be like, bro, like, this person who I thought was the real guy turned out to be somebody else. Yeah. What the?
No, yeah, because I thought like,
fuck that.
Because even later in the episode, like the way the Skrull is able to, they can't just look at somebody and like take their, what's it called? Their
physique and their
yeah, right. They have to like touch them or something, right? Don't we see that later on in the episode?
We see the people that are like hooked up to those machines and stuff.
Yeah, do you remember that? So my thing is Ross hooked up to one of those things or what the fuck?
That's what I don't know, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that. Because later in the episode we get a scene where they kind of show their routine and step by step of how they are able to transform into humans and, you know, take their, like, even their mind or whatever. Where they have like an innocent random human, they put him in this machine that's like, they put a machine and there's like these weird blue laser beams lasering him into like his head, and they're like, all right, now take his body. And so like he puts his hand on his head and he shapeshifts into him and he's taking his mind.
Yeah, like his memories and everything.
Exactly. So I'm like, is that how they do that? Like, or do they just look at them and they're gonna be, all right, cool, like I'm there. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of like confused about. It's like, oh, like do they just have to look at them, or do they actually have to like have like pieces of DNA or like something, which we later in the second episode we see some DNA stuff. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so that's where I'm kind of confused, and I kind of agree with you, Jav, is like, dang, so like was Ross a Skrull this whole time?
Yeah.
I don't know. And so later on we finally get Nick Fury. Nick Fury comes out like from the UFO or some shit out of nowhere, and then we learn that he's been gone. He's been gone for what, 30? No. How long has he been gone?
I can't remember what they said.
But he's been gone for a long time at the space station.
Yes.
That he was at. And then we see that a lot through this episode where Nick Fury is coming down. He acknowledges the threat and he's like, okay, so there's Skrulls or whatever. We gotta, figure this out. And as he has like helpers or like around him, like even like Maria that we talked about, her, other people, they all go back and say like, basically saying, Nick Fury, you washed up. Like you're getting, like, you're old now, man. You're washed up. The Nick Fury I knew is 3 steps ahead. But all these different things, and we see that a lot. And it's in the first and second episode where Nick Fury is constantly being doubted and not taken seriously. Like he lost his game. And to me, I'm thinking of it as, okay, Nick Fury is definitely going to he's gonna prove him wrong. You know what I mean? And I guess the explanation is, they all these people that would say this to him, they all say it's because you changed because of the blip. Ever since the blip, you just changed.
Yes. And
you just were never the same. You always wanted to be in your space station or whatever. And not only that, wasn't Nick Fury, I could have sworn he said that he had 30 years of experience with the Skrulls. Like he was there with the Skrulls, like, and stuff like that. So he knows. So his argument is like, hey, I know these guys more than any of you guys. I know what this is about. I can do this. While everyone else is kind of like skeptical about him.
Yeah.
Like, should we follow your lead and stuff? And we see that later on at the end of the episode of the first episode, which we get that into a bit. But so after Nick Fury is trying to, get help and everything, we later find out that the Skrulls are planning some type of attack, right?
Yeah.
With these bombs or something. And their whole goal is to find out, okay, where are these bombs at? Okay. And they end up finding another Skrull. Her name Gaia.
Yeah.
right? Remember, which is a close friend of Talos, and she's the one who had the bombs, you know, and that was gonna deliver it to her higher ups or whatever. And we get this whole like scene that we learn that her mother passed away, and that I guess this was like a somewhat of a turning point for Gaia. Do you know what happens after that?
No, not as much.
When, because remember, Gaia ends up delivering those bombs to that person, and that heartfelt conversation that she
with
had.
Talos.
Yeah, what she had with Talos, she kind of switched up. It's like, you know what, like I kind of like, because Talos reveals that your mother died because of the people you're working for.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then do you want to go about how she ended up meeting Talos and like what their plan was?
Fuck, what was it?
You don't remember? When was the last time you seen this bitch?
When it came out.
Oh shit! Was that the last time?
Yeah, bro. I saw the episode when it first came out a week ago.
God damn, yeah, bro. So that's why. Okay, no, that makes sense. So okay, so if you remember, after that conversation, she delivers the bombs, and then she tries to postpone the attack with that guy.
Yeah,
She's like, maybe we should postpone this, and then he says, "No, thanks to you, we got the bait or some shit." So we learned that the bombs or something is bait or something, right? And so after that, Gaia is like, you know what? Let me meet up with Talos. And they meet up with Talos, and they're like, you know what? I do want to help you. This is what's happening. I'm going to deliver these bombs at this site, and that's it. You guys got to, like, stop them.
And that the backpacks are going to be marked.
Exactly. The backpacks were marked and everything. Nick Fury and Maria. Same with Talos. They were on there, like, looking at the... Exactly. On the scene, looking.
That part I remember.
Yeah. And then we get to this event. I forgot what it was, man.
It was some. It's like a festival thing. It was like a celebration. It's something that they actually do in Moscow.
Oh, okay. And so they're at this event. They're chasing down. These guys with the backpacks and stuff. And Maria's chasing one. Talos is chasing the other. Nick, he gets distracted by this girl. Like with that ball, remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck? Because she's like staring, and the reason why he's like, what the fuck, is because that's the same girl that he saw in the very beginning of the episode when he had a heated argument with Maria and Talos about him being washed up or whatever the fuck, and he says, I'm going for a walk, and he ends up going for a walk, and then there's that little girl with that ball, like just like there in the night, and her mom is like getting after her. He's like, what the hell? And that's when he gets kidnapped. And talks with that one girl. I forgot that one girl.
Yeah,
I forgot her name.
I'm not sure who she is.
Yeah, but that's where they had that convo or whatever. Yeah, basically saying, "Yo, help me, help you," type shit. We got to do this. And then she's like, "Nah, Nick Fury. The Nick Fury I knew would have seen my men coming." But then Nick Fury rebuttal saying, "Nah, I let them take me so they could take me to you." You know what I mean? Type shit. And then he puts like that camera on that owl.
Yeah.
Right. He'd be sneaky. So what's up with all these clocks? He puts a little camera there to spy on her or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, I forgot to mention that really quickly. But anyway, so that's how Nick Fury gets distracted from that girl, remember? And so he ends up like following the little girl on some no weird shit, chill, right?
He said, he said,
hey man, he was though.
Hey man,
he was.
But he's Nick Fury though.
All right, you're right. Let's slide. He was following a little girl with a ball, man. Hey, I just want to say all this, so no weird shit, man. Like chill.
Like don't cancel Nick Fury.
For real, like he good, man. Fremont man, he didn't do shit. Help a brother out. Right? When he says in the second episode, that's funny. I thought it was funny as fuck. But anyways, we'll get to that, guys. But yeah, so he's following this little girl, and then she like passes by like an object, and then that girl transforms to like someone else.
Yeah.
And we get that maybe like two more times of the person just the camera like passing an object, and the person transforms to something else. So now you know, oh shit, this bitch is Skrull.
Yeah.
And that's what Nick Fury realizes that too. He's like, oh shit. And then he eventually transforms into his normal main body Skrull, which we get introduced who he is in the second episode. But Nick Fury's like, okay, what the fuck's going on? And so Maria ends up grabbing one of the bags that the guy had with the bombs or whatever. Turns out they're decoys. Yes. And that's what the decoys that the other guy was telling Gaia about. And then same with Talos. He's like, he grabs a bag. Fuck. Decoys, whatever. And then when Nick Fury, as he's getting close to this scroll that he's shapeshifting out in the open, he pulls out like this detonator. Pulls that button, bro, and everything just blows the fuck up. And and this whole part, bro, I was like, damn, I'm like, this is Marvel right now.
Yeah,
bro. Crazy. Cause I'm like, this is what, like, this is gonna sound fucked up, but I like that.
Damn.
I like that, man. It's gonna sound fucked up, but I like it, bro, because this is what we need, bro.
No, I know what you're talking
like,
about.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, motherfucker, when I saw this, I was like, damn, he doing more damage than Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man. Like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Because that's what we need, man. Because we always get so many villains that, like, they don't really seem so intimidating. They don't seem like a big deal. But right here, this motherfucker blew up, and we later find out that he killed over 2,000 innocent people, and it might double because, like, you know, they have to clear, you have to clear the debris or whatever. But, like, dude, this dude just looked at Nick Fury straight to his face and did that shit. Everyone's screaming. The explosions are going off. We're like, what the fuck's going on? And not only that, obviously, this is the part where I was like, oh, shit. Where Maria's, like, she's, like, looking at the explosion. She's like, what the fuck? And she sees Nick Fury, right? And Nick Fury's like, hey, I'm right here. And she ends up walking close to Nick Fury. And all of a sudden, Nick Fury shoots her, bro. And we're like, what the fuck's going on, right? She ends up falling down to the ground, and then Nick Fury, and turns out that Nick Fury that shot her was that Skrull motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the real Nick Fury ends up coming from behind Maria and sees her on the ground, and she's like, it was you. And then he's like, no, it's not me.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
And she ends up passing away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she ends up dying, bro. I'm like, holy shit. And at that moment, bro, I think, like, and I believe that's how it ends, actually. Yeah, that's how it ends.
The episode ends that way.
Yeah, it ends. The first episode ends that way. And that first episode, bro, like, I thought, like, that whole ending right there, I thought, like, holy shit, these guys are for real, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of scary, low key, bro. Like, you just saw, like, he pretended to be Nick Fury. And I guess that kind of answered my question. I guess, like, they don't necessarily need DNA or, like, touch whatever. Yeah. I guess they could just see it and just do that. Maybe they do need DNA when it comes to, like,
the memories,
like, yeah, like memories, or maybe, like, even powers. Maybe
that's true. I can see that.
You know what I mean? In which we get a glimpse of that in episode 2, which we'll go through that in a bit.
Yeah.
But that's how that first episode ends, man. And I really thought it was a great introduction to what Secret Invasion is, and they even explained it very well in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they showed that, like, yeah, this is for real, dude. This motherfucker, like, we don't know who this guy is, just killed innocent people and just killed this character, Maria, by pretending to be Nick, by pretending to be Nick Fury. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, bro. I was like, this is good as fuck. I liked it a lot, bro. Yeah. What did you think, Hav? That whole scene.
I liked it too, bro. I liked the first episode, but I guess the reason why I never wanted to go back and rewatch it and stuff after I saw it is because I do agree that I felt like the movie had a little too much setup. That it kind of made the runtime drag a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Although the setup is very much necessary, I feel like there was a lot. Because you have the whole thing where, like, you're catching up with Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And he's with Talos and Maria Hill, and they're doing their own thing. And then you're catching up with the bad guy, that leader motherfucker with Gaia. And then you're setting up with them, and then it turns out that Gaia and Talos knew each other, and then they're set up there. And then Nick Fury gets kidnapped and meets with this other woman. There's a little setup there. So I felt like there was just a lot of setup, and I'm like, I know it's not the truth. I know it's not. But it felt like I was watching 5 different plot points going on in one episode. That I was like, I'm more interested in the main 2 ones where it's like, it's dealing with Nick Fury and Talos going after this motherfucker. And instead I'm seeing, like, all this other different shit. But I thought it was still good, bro. I still liked the first episode. It's good, and, well, I was going to ask you, actually, like, what did you think of Maria Hill dying at the end of the episode?
I wasn't expecting that at all.
No,
I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, I was not expecting that at all. And I think that's why I liked it even more, because I'm like, oh, shit.
Because you didn't know. And
yeah, and, like, you know, typical Marvel bullshit, they be faking deaths.
That's facts.
Like, to be, like, not going to lie, when I saw that person dying, like, shot or whatever she fell, I was just chilling. I was like, oh, they're probably gonna get her an ambulance. She's gonna be like in a hospital bed, like in stable condition type shit.
Yes.
But then when I saw the life go out of her eyes and she went limp, I was like, oh shit, they for real killed this.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
oh, you know what I mean? And I know it sounds fucked up, but I like it, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is what we need.
Because it feels more grounded. Like you feel like the stakes are actually out there.
Yes, bro. Yes, man. And like I didn't really feel that with like Ant-Man or even with fucking Thor with
No,
God the
of
God
course.
Butcher. Like, I didn't even feel that. And like, theoretically speaking, you should feel that with those characters, but we didn't feel that. You see what I mean, bro?
Yeah, bro.
That was my issue. Is like, what the fuck is going on? So I really, that's why I really liked it, and I can see your point what you mean about like the whole setup situation. I think maybe that's why a lot of people were maybe saying that it was boring or whatever.
Yeah.
But I personally didn't mind it because I kind of knew it was like necessary, especially like for me, because like, dude, it's been like forever since I've seen like the OG MCU movies or whatever. So like for them to give like a little quick recaps or like really give like a thorough explanation of like what's going on, okay, how long they've been here, all these different things. Even in episode 2, when we get a flashback of like Nick Fury back in 1997, that whole situation, or like who he was. Remember the beginning of the episode? We're like, oh, I'm Nick Fury. I did blah blah blah. Like a quick recap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is what I needed, man. It's been so long since I forgot what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I personally liked it, man. It really got me hyped for the next episode, bro. I'm like, oh, I want to see it.
For me, bro,
You know?
I felt a bit indifferent
Oh, okay.
on Maria Hill's death.
Oh, okay.
The reason why is because I would not make the argument. I know this is gonna sound fucked up, and a lot of like hardcore comic book nerds are gonna be like, no, Jav, you're wrong. You're full of shit.
Okay.
But like all I have as reference are the
Yeah.
MCU movies. Now I'm sure she's great in the comics and stuff, but in the
Yeah.
MCU movies that she's appeared in, I wouldn't make the argument that she was such a important pivotal character in the grander MCU.
She's
She's
right.
always played a side character in
Yeah.
everything that she has been in. She doesn't really have as much screen time. She doesn't really have a lot of dialogue, a lot of lines in the movies and stuff that she comes up on.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, she was like a secondary side character
Yeah.
in Avengers 1 and Avengers 2. Infinity War, we see her at the very end in the post-credit scene, but she gets snapped away, and then Nick Fury gets snapped away, right, at the end?
Yeah.
She comes back in Endgame, no dialogue. Neither did Nick Fury, which I thought was weird. And then they come back for No Way Home, Far From Home, the second Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. And she had a bigger role, obviously, in her and Nick Fury, but then you find out they were Skrulls, so it's like, okay. And then, now she's back here with Secret Invasion. So, for me, it was like, I'm indifferent because it's like, I didn't really feel like I lost a character because I didn't feel like, especially because of the timeline. Like,
Yeah.
she's been in the MCU for a very long time, timeline-wise. But I just didn't feel like that impact of like, damn, like we just lost a pivotal character. I didn't feel that way. But even then, if she wasn't really a important character like that, I still am a little indifferent in the sense that they just killed her off. Because a part of me is like, okay, I can understand if she's not Nick Fury level of important when it comes to the grander MCU.
Yeah.
But if you did want to write her off, I think I would have maybe preferred like a more, I guess, like more proper send off, I guess, kind of way.
Huh. Okay. Like what? Like what do you think?
I don't know, bro. Like maybe I was gonna say like maybe wait to kill her off until the 6th episode, to the very last.
Oh, I got
one.
you. So like,
so that we had like a
build like a rapport with her throughout the series,
right? Like where we could try to like see her for one last like project, one last thing, and then she can like die at the very end, or like she gives her life or something like that. So I'm indifferent because it's like I didn't feel like I lost a big character because she wasn't really a main character like that in the MCU movies, anyways.
No, yeah, you're right.
I know she does other things and she plays a way bigger role in the comics.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah.
But in the movies, she didn't really do much. And then the fact that they kill her off so early on into the shows, the first episode, that a part of me was like, that's all we get from Maria Hill? Let me find out she was Skrull. But then in the
Like imagine when she was dead, she like transformed into her scroll self, and then Nick Fury's like, "What the fuck? Who are you?" And that's how it ends or some shit.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something. You know,
that
would
have been crazy too.
But then
not
when
gonna
we
lie.
see the second episode and we see her coffin being shipped on a jet, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it actually happened. So like, I don't know, man. I guess that's the end of Maria Hill.
No, no, you're right, dude. You're definitely right. When it comes to the MCU, we didn't really get much action with her. We didn't necessarily build like a rapport with her to where we care about her as like Nick Fury, Iron Man,
that type shit.
I get it, and I, you know what, and that's fair, you know, and I definitely understand why you think, you know, her death was like, whatever. That's true. That's facts. I think with me, it just hit a little bit more harder because like I knew like I don't just know her from the MCU. And not only that, I just kind of like that Marvel, I guess, just pull the trigger on finally killing somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, bro? I think that's like...
And I feel like maybe they were self-aware.
You think
they were like, you know what, bro, since Maria Hill's not really that crazy of a character in the MCU, it'd be easier to kill her off because she's kind of like a whatever character.
You're right.
Which just sucks because, like I said, like I know that in the comics she plays a bigger role. I know that in the comics, and that's only because I know in there's a video game that I played when I was little that kind of adapted the comic books, but I know that I think it was during Civil War, the comic book. It's like Nick Fury is just not in the picture for whatever reason. He's just not around when Civil War happens. So the leader of Shield is actually Maria Hill.
Oh yeah.
So a part of me would have liked. It's one of those things, bro, where it's like, okay, so like Far From Home, we had Nick Fury and Maria Hill. But we find out in a post-credit scene that they were actually Skrulls. It was actually Talos and some other bitch. And in reality, Nick Fury was up in the ship in space.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think the MCU confirmed that base station's not Sword.
Oh, it's not?
No, remember they kept calling it Saber?
Oh, you're right, huh? Saber.
Remember we were all like, "Oh yeah, Sword, bro. It's like Space Shield." Like we from the comics, but they're calling it Saber now. So I think they're changing the name.
Yeah, I get like for the MCU,
I guess.
Yeah.
So a part of me would have liked.
Yeah, you're right.
What a part of me would have liked. Would have either liked either one of two things. Either post-credit scene of Infinity War, we see Maria Hill and Nick Fury get snapped away. Okay. Wouldn't it be cooler if Nick Fury was the only one that got snapped away, and Maria Hill didn't?
Okay, I got you.
And she took over as the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., and in the 5-year gap, she kind of like built herself up to be the Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. because she had to step up and she was the next in line type of bullshit.
Right.
Or wouldn't it have been cool if they both got snapped away, and when they came back, you know, obviously Nick Fury went up to space and built Saber or whatever, but while he was up there, then she was in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. down here. Where she had some sort of like, where she got promoted to a position to run S.H.I.E.L.D. just like the way it happens in the comics.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think, bro.
I feel like if they would have done that, I feel like we would have cared more about her character because we would be like, oh wow,
she would have been more.
She was just kind of like a Nick Fury sidekick, and now she got promoted to be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Nick Fury just ain't around anymore. I feel like there would have been that boost of attachment of like, oh shit, now Maria Hill's about.
And let's say she was in here like for longer, like what you said, right, throughout the whole series. What if right here, obviously, she's still like what you said, in charge and everything, and Nick Fury's back and he's trying to take charge, but she's like, "Where you been, bud?"
Type shit.
You're not gonna
that would have been cool.
You know what I mean? Like you're not. No, I'm in charge now. You lost it or whatever. You're not gonna take this away from me. And at the end, we're like, she maybe sacrifices herself or something, and that's how. Not only did we get a rapport with her and like we feel more for her, but that's how the mantle gets transitioned back to like Nick Fury. If that makes sense.
I understand. You know? I guess the closest thing to an example that I can give, bro, would be Rhodey, would be War Machine.
Oh yeah.
And how like in the first Iron Man movie, he was just kind of a side character. Like everyone knew, like comic book nerds were like, "Oh my god," you know, like I know who that is. But like casual watchers are like, "Okay, like that's just Tony Stark's best friend,
right?
Who sometimes like get into little petty like fights with, and you know, like they're just like typical like best friend banter bullshit." But it's not till Iron Man 2 when he finally gets his own War Machine suit and he becomes a superhero that he basically, if you think about it, like he got promoted. From just side character to superhero because he's now given his own Iron Man suit that people now have grown a bigger attachment to him because
Yeah.
now he gets promoted.
Right.
That's kind of like the closest thing to an example that I can
Yeah.
come with. That if we got something similar to that with Maria Hill, I feel like we would have gone closer to her, and her death here would have maybe meant a little more. I'd been like,
Yeah,
oh,
bro.
shit,
And
what
like
the
it,
fuck?
and like obviously, it would have meant a lot more, and I guess the stakes would have been like a lot higher. Like, oh shit, like
Fury's left with no leader.
yeah, type shit.
Shield's
yeah,
left with
yeah,
no
yeah,
leader.
yeah. I would have liked that a lot too. But, you know, and speaking of Rhodey, whatever happened? Don't you remember like there was a whole rumor or whatever with his own show or something, a War Machine?
Armor Wars.
Yeah, is that a still thing?
So it's still a thing.
Okay.
Originally, it was announced as a 6-part Disney Plus series.
Okay.
But then they rewrote it. Apparently now they're making it into a movie. So it's not going to be a show anymore. Now they're going to make it into a movie, and it's still in production. They're still in development.
Yeah, man.
Of making that shit, bro.
His whole writer strike is. This whole writer strike is ruining everything, man.
Dude, oh my god, bro. Like, it's fucked because.
Like, what'd you think of The Boys?
Oh, bro.
What'd you think of that?
That was fucked, bro.
Like I heard there was not even a release date for it, but they said, hey, we're not gonna even release it or anything until this shit's over.
Like, we knew for a fact, bro, that it wasn't going to come out till next year because they just barely, like, a month and a half ago, they wrapped filming the season. So we knew it was not going to come out till, like, sometime next year. But now for them to say until the strike is over. And I feel like the reason why, and I don't want to spoil anything because I know you want to watch The Boys.
Yeah, for the guys who's not, for people listening, I haven't seen The Boys yet. I know, man. Y'all gonna hate me.
I know.
Whatever. I haven't seen it yet. I will.
You will.
Yeah.
But what's it called? What happens is, bro, is like when you finally get around to watching The Boys, you're gonna see that The Boys TV show is gonna take a lot of inspiration from our real world, and kind of like that superhero fandom, kind of community.
Yeah.
The Boys tend to poke fun at a lot of things that we see in the typical superhero community shit.
Okay.
So I would not be surprised if they're holding off the release date for season 4 of The Boys because they want to make a reference to a writer strike in that show. Like
that'd be pretty cool, huh?
Like, because there's things that you're gonna see in The Boys that you're gonna be like, bruh, really? Like they did in real life. You're gonna see a lot of shit that they reference.
Okay.
But yeah, bro, it's fucking crazy, this writer strike, bro. This writer strike, I remember reading it in an article and I was like, oh fuck, that's kind of facts. Is that the writer strike has been like the biggest halt in Hollywood production. The biggest halt, like as far as making movies, making TV shows and all that. That it was the biggest halt in Hollywood like production since the pandemic, since COVID.
God damn.
And so like now we're like way past COVID, we're past that, and now we're back to like, oh, nothing's getting made because of this.
Yeah,
strike.
bro, because like everything got delayed for like, I mean, Secret Wars is what 2027?
Something like that, bro. They pushed the.
I ain't trying. Nah.
But no, but here's the thing. In their defense, though,
Yeah.
Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty were both delayed way before this writer strike happened.
That's true.
But I'm talking about like, bro, like the Daredevil show's on hold. Fuck.
Yeah, man. Oh, I'm scared.
They're not releasing The Boys. Fuck. Like shit like that is what I'm referring
speaking
to.
Of Daredevil, man, I'm scared, man.
What's up?
I'm just scared, bro. I'm scared what they're gonna do.
Listen, bro. I'm gonna be real, bro.
I'm scared.
I don't know if I care, bro. I don't know if they're gonna. Bro, because let's be real. Like after watching him on She-Hulk, you really mean to tell me Disney Plus is not gonna go that route?
Oh my god.
Like there's no fucking way, bro. And they even said, like, there's even been a lot of interviews of Charlie Cox saying that, oh, like, this is going to be, like, a reinvention of the character and blah, 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 and this and that.
Oh, man.
Like, all that is just me. Like, all I'm hearing is,
it's not the Netflix.
They're going to make this into a PG-13 MCU-ified Daredevil, not the one that we saw on Netflix.
Fuck, man.
I know, bro. It fucking sucks. But, like, you know what, bro? I kind of got that feeling when I saw him in She-Hulk. I'm like, oh, great. Like, this is what they're going to make Daredevil into, bro. And it's like, I didn't want that.
The fighting was still raw, cool, though. I like the fighting.
Yeah, when it wasn't fucking CGI.
Yeah, you know what? Not gonna lie, that did caught me off guard, man. It was kind of weird to see that.
It's only because we saw the Netflix Daredevil and everything was
Yeah.
practical. Like he was doing it all the flips, all the punching and kicking and jumping off walls. Like he actually did all that,
right?
Or I guess realistically, a stunt double did with his Daredevil gear on. But still, it was practical. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man.
Bro.
I just want to see what the fuck they do, man. I don't know, man. We just got to see, but But yeah, guys. So that's the first episode of Secret Invasion. We're gonna get into the second episode shortly. But before we do, we're gonna give our rating for this episode.
The first one?
Yeah, the first episode. What would you give it?
Probably. Let me see. Let me think.
Want me to go first?
Do you have one?
I have a rating.
What do you think?
I thought this episode was solid, man. I liked it a lot. 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah.
An 8? Yeah. I was thinking 7.5.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
So you said somewhere around there. So which one?
Like I don't want to quite give it an 8, so I guess I'm stuck at 7.5.
All right.
Just like I said, because I just felt like the show, like this episode, just had a lot of setup, and like there were parts where I felt like dragged. I felt like every time Samuel L. Jackson was on screen, he just stole the scene. But then again, it's because I haven't really seen much of Nick Fury in a very long time. That I'm glad he's finally gotten the spotlight. So every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh my god, like it's great.
No, it was cool seeing Nick Fury back, man. He's been out the game for a while. We haven't really got much like action since what? Far From Home?
Yeah. Even then, like I said, bro, he was a Skrull. So it's just
yeah, you're fucking right, dude. Yeah.
Because he was in space the whole time. So even then, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah,
it doesn't really hit the same.
Dude. Damn, I forgot.
The last time we got a true Nick Fury was in Avengers 2.
God damn.
Which was 2015. Because he was technically in Infinity War, but he was in a post-credit scene and he got snapped away. Then he was in Endgame at the very end when they're at Tony Stark's funeral, but he has no lines. He just stands there, kind of paying his respects, but he has no speaking lines whatsoever.
Oh yeah, you're
right.
So
the last true appearance of Nick Fury that we actually got, where he actually played a role, had dialogue, and wasn't a fucking Skrull, was Avengers: Age of Ultron, which came out in 2015.
That's crazy.
Which is 8 years ago.
That's crazy to think about, bro. You're right, dude. I completely forgot that he was a Skrull in No Way Home. Not No Way Home. Far From Home.
Yeah.
Too many homes, man. What the fuck,
bro? I thought that whole shit was stupid.
What?
You think so?
The homes?
Yeah, it's just.
I didn't like
having
it.
Homes.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
I was just like, what?
I was just like, okay.
But like, yeah, it just makes the titles confusing. Like, it's like, what the
Far
fuck?
From Home, No Way Home,
Homecoming.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't
what
know.
the fuck? Like,
they just wanted to get
Homecoming. I can understand. It was cute. I was like, oh, I get it, right? Because Marvel got the rights to Spider-Man back. He's home.
Yeah.
Homecoming. But like now, y'all pushed it too far. Right?
Far From Home.
Like, I better not see Spider-Man Homeschooled for the fourth one. Like, I don't.
I think we are, man.
No,
Spider-Man
bro.
4. Spider-Man 4.
I got no home
for real. Yeah, I got no home or some shit like that. Or,
no, bro, they got to stop that bullshit. Like, I'm not with this home shit anymore. Like, just
maybe they will. Maybe they just did it for that trilogy.
Yeah,
and then once they do the next trilogy,
but I don't want another gimmick title.
Oh, I got you.
Like, if you're gonna name it something, have it make sense. Like, how cool would it be if Spider-Man 4 was like, okay, so you remember how I mentioned that comic book, the Spider-Man comic, Spider-Man Blue, where it's like he makes recordings, like he does tape recordings that he dedicates to Gwen Stacy,
right?
Where he's like, listen, I still think about you all the time because I was the reason you got killed. I tried to save you and I couldn't, and like I still feel guilty. I can't forgive myself. He records those tapes. Now, obviously, we know MJ Zendaya didn't die, but she did forget him at the end of No Way Home because of the spell that Doctor Strange cast.
Yeah.
So what if they kind of tweak the source material a little bit and he makes tapes dedicated to Zendaya, like to MJ, where he's like, man, it totally sucks that you don't remember me because we have so many memories. And then they would call it Spider-Man Blue. Because
that would be sick.
Because that's the name of the comic.
Yeah.
Or if he's going to go up against the Sinister Six, which it's not going to happen because we kind of got the Sinister Six kind of in No Way Home. But if they did, call it Spider-Man Sinister Six. Or call it something that makes sense. Don't make another gimmick title.
What if the gimmick is this? Ready? You said Spider-Man Blue. What if the next one's Spider-Man Red?
Like
Spider-Man Green. Then the third one's Spider-Man Green.
like Spider-Man Black is when he has
the
black suit.
Yeah, the black suit Spider-Man.
It's like, what?
Spider-Man Black. Hey, how? Spider-Man Blacked. It's like, yo, like, he got the black suit. Like, okay. Like, hey, Luis signed up, man. Sorry, Luis.
Black, bro.
Yeah, right? No, I know what you mean,
and then
man.
the next one is Black Spider-Man, and it's Miles Morales.
Miles Morales, the Black Spider-Man. Hey, which they were saying they're gonna do a live action. Did you see that? They're gonna do like a live action Miles Morales.
But from what I understand, it's not connected to the MCU.
Yeah,
then you know what? Then I don't give a fuck.
Low key, right? I kind of want
that Sony universe is trash.
Yeah, it's
bro.
trash. Bro.
I don't give a
it's
fuck.
trash.
I don't give a fuck about Craven, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you want to talk about that real quick.
Craven?
Yeah, with Craven.
Dude, I literally got nothing to say.
I'm gonna be real. I don't give a fuck either.
You need to do this because no one gives a fuck about this universe.
Like, what's with the okay, bro? What's with this bullshit of why can't villains just be villains?
Yes.
Like,
bro.
what's with this bullshit of like,
making them heroes
for like an anti-hero? Like, he wasn't always a villain. He was made. Like, no. Sometimes people are just born as bad people. Like, just have it be that.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of fucking Sony making these characters to where they're making them all anti-heroes. Like, what the fuck? Just make them villains. Like, what is this bullshit, man?
I don't know, dude. I don't even know what the thought process was like.
I don't know, bro.
I don't understand what the idea was. Where it's like, hey, what if we made it? Look how successful the MCU is. Fuck it, let's make a cinematic universe. Or it's just it consists of Spider-Man villains, but Spider-Man's not around. It's like, what?
Well, here's the thing, Hava. I'm sure you knew this, or if you didn't, maybe people listening didn't know. But obviously, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, right? So Sony has to release a certain amount of Spider-Man related projects in a certain amount of years for their rights to like be active. Does that make sense? So they can't just like not just own the rights to Spider-Man and not do anything with it. If that ever happens, it'll go back to like Marvel. So they have to pump out Spider-Man related something to retain the copyright. Exactly. That's why we're getting all this bullshit. That's why we're getting Craven. That's why. Then
fuck these movies. These movies are nothing. Then.
Yeah, essentially, it's just Morbius.
It's just their excuse to keep the rights.
Yes, bro.
Bro, that makes so much more sense. Because
Exactly.
I've always wondered. I'm like, what are their issue? Like, what do you mean you want to make a cinematic universe consisting of Spider-Man villains and Spider-Man's not even fucking around, bro?
That's why. Yeah, to keep the rights.
I don't get it. Like,
I
was like, what?
Because they can't just not like keep the rights of Spider-Man and not do anything for 10 years. Nah, man, fuck y'all. Like, no, like legally they have to put out something related to it because like or else it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
Exactly. That's what they're and like. Oh, I guess really quickly too. You know, I guess they changed his origins with Kraven the Hunter, like how he got his powers.
You saw that bullshit?
Yeah,
a drop of blood.
A drop of blood from a lion
gets into his DNA. I was like,
to be fair, I mean, I guess because even in the comic books, was that crazy either? In the comic books, the way he got his powers was this crazy like scientist that gave him like a potion or something like that, and he drank that potion. That's how he got his powers. So like, even I kind of don't like that either, you know. And obviously, you know, I want to make this clear. Just because what's the source material doesn't mean it's like good or whatever. You know what I mean? Like many people think that it's just because source material, it's got to be that way, or like, no, it has to be that way. No, man, there's some storylines that are trash that I don't like from comics, and like, or even some origins where I think it's like, like for example, like Kraven, like how he got his powers in the comics. I was like, I don't really care for it. But yeah, I just want to make that clear, guys. Like, understand, like, you know, just because it's a source material doesn't mean like, it has to be that way. Like, to be honest, if I'm really think about it, I guess the way with the line with the blood, even though I feel the same way, I still think it's a little bit cooler than the whole potion bullshit. Where like, here, drink this, like, and he's like, all right, you know. So I like cool. I think it's a little bit cooler, but even then, I'm like, whatever. Not only that, motherfucker, not Russian.
Right.
He not Russian. Like, what the hell? No Russian type shit. Like, MW2. Shout out MW2. OGs know that. But yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, he's not Russian. Like, what the?
I don't know, bro.
Like, he looks like a one of those like, fuck, man. Like, just one of those like one of those hot boys, like frat boys or whatever, that just got powers type shit.
Yeah.
Like the Kraven from we got from Insomniac, that motherfucker.
Spider-Man game?
Yeah, that motherfucker looked badass, and that motherfucker actually looked like a villain. This dude looks like I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Yeah, man. And to be fair, like Kraven is a cool character, but I guess personally, I don't think he really needed like a solo film.
None of these villains did.
You're right. You're right. They all could have been introduced obviously with like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's why they're doing that, bro, because they have to. So what are they gonna do, bro? I have no fucking idea. My biggest thing that I guess the best thing that maybe they could do eventually, if they can, or they talk with Marvel, is they pull off the Sinister Six, but maybe they make the Amazing Spider-Man. They make another Amazing Spider-Man
With Andrew.
with Andrew.
Yeah.
I think that's the only best route, and I know for a fact if they ever did do that, it's gonna make money, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's, like,
that
people
or
are gonna
that or the live action Miles Morales is going to be that universe's Spider-Man.
Yeah, but like if Sony does that, does that mean that Marvel is not like gonna do Miles Morales?
Miles Morales?
Because if we really think about it, I know guys, we're like in a tangent, guys, but we bear with us. But if you really think about it, I think it's like some type of like ego thing when it comes to like Hollywood, like studios or whatever. Like if someone else did it, we ain't gonna do it. Like for example, like the fact that Sony made a solo movie for Venom, Morbius, and Craven or whatever, MCU is not gonna do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like if the Sony takes the Miles Morales route, most likely MCU is not gonna do that. And I don't want that. I want the MCU to take the Miles. Like if Miles Morales ever becomes a real live action thing, let the MCU do that. Let's not. Sony, you suck with your live action. Like,
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be real, bro. Obviously, we're gonna check out this movie, right, and review it and whatever. But my expectations is like I guess with Morbius, man. Like we saw what happened with Morbius, and even fucking Venom, bro. The two Venom movies. It's like
the only reason why Sony sucks at making these villain movies, making these movies, is because they concentrate too much on what we felt like the issue with the MCU has been for a while, and that is audience pleasing and the charts and the numbers and all that. Because what they do is they want to make these movies, and then they'll go and hire writers and directors to create the movie, but set hella creative control to like a limit.
Yeah.
To be like, you need to make this movie a superhero movie. It's like, I don't get it though. Morbius is not a superhero. Like, we don't give a fuck.
Make him an anti-hero. Like
we don't give a fuck. Like, people like that.
Yeah.
People
Venom,
like heroes.
Make Venom an anti-hero and shit. Like
exactly.
And fight Carnage, which they did Carnage terrible, and the way they, oh my god, it was bad. Like I don't know what the fuck they were doing.
But I feel like that's why it sucks. Is because Sony cares too much about audience pleasing and the numbers and stuff that they don't let directors do their own thing.
Like
so bro. It's like that's a perfect example of what happens when studios don't give their directors full creative control. The movies end up suffering.
Yeah.
So it just is.
You're right, dude. They gotta like just let them be villains, man. You know what I mean? They don't gotta be anti-heroes, bro. They don't gotta be like a Deadpool. Like we don't have to like them. Okay? And we like them because they're evil. Like they're cool. Like oh shit, you know what I mean? But then again, if you make a solo movie out of them, nobody's gonna watch. Like what they did with Black Adam. You mentioned this with Black Adam. Nobody's gonna watch like a villain movie that's just them being a villain and a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's always like if it's a solo film of a villain, it's got to be an anti-hero because that's how the audience could maybe like root for them and actually care and stuff. Because if it's just a solo movie of a villain killing innocent people and shit like that
for 2 hours,
the audience gonna be like, this shit sucks. Like, could somebody stop this guy? But nobody can because it's a solo movie. Do you know what I mean, bro?
Yes.
That's why, man. So like, that's why and neither of these characters needed their own solo movie. They had to be introduced with Spider-Man, you know.
Yes,
but
I agree.
Whatever, man. Enough of that tangent. Okay, you gave it 7.5, 8. I gave it an 8. Okay, guys, let's get into the second episode of Secret Invasion really quickly. You know, in the very beginning, we get a quick update or a quick recap of who Nick Fury was, you know, what he's been doing and everything. We even get a flashback of like back in 1997 where Nick Fury welcomes like the early Skrulls. Remember that, Hav?
Yeah, this was around the time of Captain Marvel.
Yes,
because Captain Marvel took place in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was around there because they did the CGI de-age
Yeah, yeah,
thing
yeah.
on Nick Fury like they did in
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. So yeah, that was around that time.
Right. We get that scene where like it's they're I guess refugees at this point. You know, Nick Fury is saying we could coexist. All right, just if you follow your word, follow mine, whatever. We also get introduced to this another scroll. His name is what was his name? The
It starts
starts with G.
Yeah, G. Gavik?
Gavit.
Gavit or
Gavik.
with a K.
Gavik.
Something like
I
that.
think it's Gavik.
I
You look it up really quickly.
But yeah, it starts with a G.
So, yeah,
all
so-
these scrolls been having weird ass fucking
Yeah,
names.
Gaia.
Gaia with, and there's
Gaia.
an apostrophe there. I don't know if you watch your.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you watch Secret Wars with subtitles on, but there's
I
a
did.
caption. It's like what?
Yeah, there is. There's
Gaia.
like an apostrophe in it. But yeah, check. Is it Gavik? I think it is Gavik. Really quickly. But anyway, so we get that scene with Nick Fury. He's welcoming these scrolls, saying, "Hey, we will coexist." Everyone is kind of skeptical about it. Is it
Gravik.
Oh, we're close, man. Gravik. And so he's essentially giving we could coexist. It's okay. Whatever. We welcome you. Typical stuff. And we get introduced to this boy, right? Like a younger boy, scroll, whatever. And they explain how he escaped during the war of their planet, whatever.
Yeah, they were facing off the Kree.
The Kree. That's what.
Which, if I understand, that's Captain Marvel's clan, right? Like they're.
I think it is. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about that. I mean, we could look it up really quickly, unless we may
Isn't
be
the
wrong.
Kree basically MCU Green Lanterns, which is basically. Well, no, I've heard people say the Nova
Let me
Corps,
Yeah. That's.
but like the Kree, I could have sworn is like Captain Marvel's crew, like those people that we met.
Oh no, the Kree.
Unless I'm
Alien
wrong.
race appearing. They are native to the planet Hala in the large Magellanic Cloud. The Kree, briefly known as the Rule, as a fictional, scientifically, technological, advanced, materialistic alien race.
Oh.
So yeah.
Well, never mind. I thought it was Captain Marvel's people.
No, I believe it's like Ronins, bro.
Oh.
Yeah. Ronins people type shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're like invading their planet, and then they having that war, but then they had to flee, typical stuff. And and Gravik, right? That was his name, Gravik.
Yes.
He's there as a kid and stuff, and how he, his parents died. He escaped by a ship, all on his own. He's a very smart person, and so one of the scrolls talking to Nick Fury is like, "Hey, we could really use him and stuff." And so that's how we get introduced to Gravik, which we later find out that was the guy who detonated that bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit, bro. Like, I'm like, why do they got beef? Like, what's going on here? So, like, we got to find out. But, so that's who he is. And also, I don't know if you noticed, bro. Obviously, we're in spoilers, right, guys? That lady, that scroll that introduced Gravik to Nick Fury, that was the scroll that we saw at the end of episode 2, where Nick Fury comes home to.
Oh,
I think that was her.
you think so?
I recognized her. Like, I know all scrolls look the same, but like her face structure, like from the actor or whatever, like it looked like her.
So you think this is how they met?
I think so. And it kind of like goes back to even before the pod, how, because okay, obviously spoilers. We could jump ahead. We could talk about it at the end, right? Or like right now, I guess. Nick Fury comes home to like his place and to his wife or whatever. But before, like, we get a glimpse of a scroll like cutting vegetables or whatever in the kitchen. And then as Nick Fury enters, she transforms into her human self. And so I was thinking, does Nick Fury know that he dating a scroll? Like, he's with the scroll right now?
Yeah.
And then you were saying he probably does. But to me, I'm like, if he doesn't, why does she change?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So we don't know, man. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Because I know in the comics, in Secret Invasion, one of the Avengers was actually dating someone that was a scroll. I forgot who it was. I think it was Hawkeye. I for some reason I have a feeling it's Hawkeye. Let me know in the comments, guys. But I know for a fact one of them is like, so maybe they're gonna do like a play on words where like, this whole time I thought you were blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But who knows, right? But
I feel like he knows, bro.
But why would she change? Why would she change? They made an agreement. All right, hey, when I'm finna kiss you, it gotta be human. Like shake dab on it. Like
you tripping?
Yeah, like Pinky promised me on that. When I bang you, it's gotta be human.
Hey yo,
I ain't banging no scroll. Like we can't even bang. Like how that work? You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe.
That's funny.
But no. For some real shit, Hive. If he knows, then why the fuck would she change?
I think the realistic argument would be like, cause like when they wanted to film that scene, like,
nah, come on,
like, fuck all that like makeup bullshit.
No, man, come on. These motherfuckers, nah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
By the way, they're not dating.
Oh, they're not?
They're married.
Oh, shit, they're married. Okay. They're married.
Yeah. Because apparently back in...
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, we get that scene where, like, Nick Fury puts on the ring.
That, but also Nick Fury has mentioned briefly
really?
that he had a wife in, I think it was Winter Soldier.
Oh, shit.
I don't know, way back then.
How the fuck do you retain this shit, bro? Like, you remember shit from so long ago. Like, for me, okay, well, then again, I feel like you watch the movies, like, here and there more than me. Because when I would watch them, I just watch them once, bro, and that's it. Like, I wouldn't rewatch them. So, like, when you bring up this stuff, I'm like, how the fuck you remember, man? I don't remember any of this shit. Maybe when we do that, when we're finally rewatching them, right, and on our Cape shit, on the Cape shit pod, right, then maybe I could be like you. I could be like an encyclopedia. Like, no, correction. Don't you remember in Avengers 1, Nick Fury ate a noodle packet, like, or some shit? Like, I don't know. Yeah, bro. I don't know how you remember that. Okay, so he mentions that he's married. So okay, so
because Captain America's like, what the fuck? I didn't know you were married. And he's like, there's a lot of things you don't know about me.
I'm begging to scroll. You don't even know about this, man.
You don't know about this scroll pussy.
Like some Scary Movie 2 shit. Like they pee from her finger. Remember from Scary Movie? Scary Movie 2, the aliens like peeing from his finger. What you mean? What you know about the scroll pussy, man? You don't know about the scroll. There's a bunch of things y'all don't know about me. The scroll be fucking me. Fuck is he talking about?
That's gay as hell.
What do you wait? Why? How is it? Wait, hold on. How's that gay as hell?
What do you
bro?
mean? Because you're saying the scroll's fucking him.
Yeah, the wife. Yeah.
Oh, they meant like she shapeshifts into a man.
No, that's crazy.
I thought that's what you were talking about. I was like, hey, yo,
No.
I go, this is a family show.
No, that's not what I meant, bro. Because regardless if she's a woman or not, she's still a scroll. That's what I meant. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
like their race is just a scroll. Like there's no like I don't think there's like any term for like a female and male like.
No, yeah.
So that's why I said that. No, how you tripping? Yo, how you tripping, man? This man tripping. All right. So anyways, right, that happens at the end, right? So anyways, so we're back. Fuck, dude. Okay, the second episode, yeah. So I already mentioned how, they give a quick little recap of Nick Fury, how they had that little meeting in 1997 with, and, oh, yeah. So because of, like, the whole explosion and stuff, everybody going berserk, like the governments, like NATO, everyone is like, yo, what the fuck's doing this? They're all thinking, like Americans did it.
That the Americans had something to do with it.
Exactly. And that's what the Skrulls want. The Skrulls want to start another World War III type shit, right? That's what their goal is. And so they got Nick Fury on 4K and shit. That's when we see Rhodes comebacks, right?
Yeah.
He's at like at a court hearing or something, right? They're asking about, yo, why, what the fuck is Nick Fury doing over here?
Yeah.
And obviously Rhodes doing his best to like, you don't have enough evidence, like I'm all this bullshit. And so yeah, now Nick Fury is like a wanted man, essentially. People are looking for him and stuff. And then we get that scene where like they're in the train, right? And then they have this conversation between Talos and Nick Fury. Mm-hmm. And then we learn, right, that all the refugees that left their planet, Skrullos, all of them are right here in Earth, bro. Mm-hmm. He said, what, like 1 million or something? 1 million Skrulls.
Something like that.
right here on Earth. And Nick Fury loses his shit. He's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? All this bullshit. And then obviously I do understand with Talos. He's like, bro, you were gone. You were gone for 5 years in the blip. Like, what was I supposed to do? Like, you weren't here. Like, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, bro.
So it does like make sense. But obviously Nick Fury is obviously upset because like, yo, that wasn't like the deal. Like, not all of you guys could come here or whatever the fuck. So like, dude, think about that. Half a million scrolls out there, bro. What the fuck?
And you don't know.
You don't know, bro. You don't know who's who.
Because they all shapeshift.
Yeah, dude. Oh, actually, another thing I forgot to mention. Was it in the first episode or the second episode where we get introduced that it reminded me of The Walking Dead, where they have like a area where it's just a bunch of scrolls. I think that was the first episode, wasn't it?
Yes.
They called it New Scrolios or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you remember? I'm like,
yeah,
that's New Alexandria. Like, remember for Walking Dead?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, they have this like Walking Dead type shit, guys, where like it's an area, like a huge town or area that's just a bunch of scrolls where they don't have to like hide in human form.
Mm-hmm. They'll just live there.
And they grow like food and like plants from their planet.
From their home planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like their line where they say like he's like, what are you fighting for? Is like to be home in my own skin or like some shit like that. Like to be home in my own skin, which that kind of goes hard. I'm like, oh shit, 'cause like they're trying to be themselves without having to live freely.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they have their own area, New Scrollos, or I don't know. I forgot
what it's called.
Yeah, but it had new in it though. It had like new blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. It reminded me of like The Walking Dead, New Alexandria type shit. So yeah, obviously, you know, Rhodey's, you know, at the hearing, after the hearing, right? He gets a phone call from Nick Fury. He's like, "Yo, we need to meet up, bro." And so they finally meet up, and they have this conversation. How do you remember? Do you want to explain really quickly of this convo, what the outcome of it and everything?
I mean, I just remember like that they were just kind of going back and forth. Like, first of all, I felt like that whole scene, bro, was probably. Well, let me think.
What do you mean? Which scene? The one with
where
Rhodey and
where they meet up at the bar.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say, well,
man, that was a bar, man. That motherfucker looked like a 5-star like restaurant, bro. What bar? Like, didn't it look like a 5-star
or like a pub or something?
It looked huge, bro. It looked like a restaurant. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like high ass ceilings and shit. Like, you remember that?
No,
okay.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think, bro, and I think this scene was probably the best scene in the entire episode. I think so, because the conversation that they were having, like they were just going they were going back and forth, bro. Basically talk about like how it's like I saved your ass and you saved mine, blah blah blah. And it's like you really don't want to play, you know, who's got the big guns, blah blah blah. And it's like this and that, and they were just going back.
Yeah,
and forth.
And essentially like Nick Fury asking for help, and like how Rhodey's not necessarily taking it seriously, and he's once again it goes back to where saying you washed up. Basically saying that like, yo man, like you're old now, you're not the Nick Fury I used to, blah blah blah. Because now Rhodey, like he's in charge, like he's like above. I don't know what he's in charge of or like what but like you could tell like he's up there now.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I do agree, man, with the whole scene. I actually did really like that.
And another crazy thing is apparently Rhodey even knew about the scrolls, bro. Remember?
Oh yes.
That he was in part of a eyes only, you know, no mention, top secret, whatever.
You're right.
That like supposedly talked about an alien species that could shapeshift and blah blah blah. And it's like, what the fuck? So now Rhodey knew about these motherfuckers.
But like he's not like taking it like seriously, and that's where like Nick Fury's like, yo man, I got 30 years of experience, man. Like what the fuck? You gotta help me or not, whatever. And that's where he's like, Nick Fury, man, you ain't that guy no more, man. I don't know what to tell you. And then Nick Fury's like, come on, man. People like us, right? That typical stuff, right? People like us. We don't get into power and like do this shit, blah blah blah, like for nothing or whatever. Help a brother out. Yeah. And I kind of liked that Rhodey kept his professionalism and didn't necessarily include like race to the point where like, oh, I'm gonna help a brother out. He's like, he kind of like mocked them in a way where he says, listen, man, that's not how things work. Okay, that's not how things work. You're right. I'm not put in this position to just do dumb decisions or like really mess things up. You know, you're right. So I won't help a brother out, you know? And Nick Fury's like, no, what the fuck? And we learn we learned that Rhodey is there, set up that meetup, I guess, to fire Nick Fury.
Which when I heard that, I was
Yeah,
like, wait, hold on, can you do that?
Hey man, it's Rhodey, man. Come on.
Hey man,
Nick
Fury don't got a war machine.
That's facts, man. That's facts, right? Yeah, no, but yeah, he ends up firing him, and then Nick Fury's like, "What? Fired? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm cutting you loose."
It's a evil war we live in.
He's like, "So they sent you to fire me?" He's like, "Nah, I volunteered." Damn. Oh, he said, "No, I volunteered."
Hey man, I
bro.
hope they don't make Rhodey a villain, man. When I heard all this bullshit, I was like, "Oh."
No, what if he's a scroll?
That's what I was thinking.
I think that's what they want you to think in this show. Is like, who's a scroll right now?
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
if you remember, when
Yeah,
we were
bro.
reviewing Across the Spider-Verse,
Uh-huh.
and we answered, it was Josue's question, right, where he mentioned Secret Wars,
Yes.
Secret Invasion. Danny said that was something about the comics, is that
yes.
you grow very weary and you don't know who to trust. Like everyone's a suspect. And I was telling, I forgot who I told, bro.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I told Mario
Right.
or you. I can't remember, but I remember I said to someone that watching Secret Invasion and knowing everyone is suspect. Who's a Skrull? Who's real? Watching Secret Invasion is no different from watching a Scream movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you're
right.
like, who's Ghostface? Who's actually
Right,
like
who
the
is
killer?
it? Yeah.
Like I'm trying to sniff him out. All right, well that motherfucker died. Clearly he's not Ghostface, right?
Right.
Dead as fuck. But that person, he hasn't had a lot of dialogue in the whole movie.
That's
or
true.
this person was conveniently off screen when
Yeah, bro,
So
you're
the
right.
whole time I'm watching Secret Invasion, it's like I'm watching a Scream movie because I'm like, hey, everyone's suspect. Like I can't.
That's
even
true. Even
trust-
Rhodey, man. Even my dog.
Even Rhodey, especially because and here's the thing, and I understand if this is actually Rhodey being like this,
Yeah.
I can understand him being professional. And he's like, you know what, bro, like you've caused too much damage.
Yeah.
Your little escapade, blah blah blah, caused the death of 2,000 people. Might be more than that once they clear the rubble. Which I will say, like, man, Rhodey, you my dog, bro, but like you kind of a bitch for that. Because
He's a bitch, bro. He's a bitch for saying, "Hey, man, because of you, 2,000 innocent people
But
died."
it wasn't 'cause of him.
And you're trying to start World War III. Okay, that's facts. You're right. But
'Cause
then
it
again,
wa-
he doesn't know. Like I don't think he knows. Well, no, wait. No, yeah, because Nick Fury says, "Oh, I went there to stop it." Remember that? And I forgot what Rhodey responded with. He's like, "Hey, like, well."
But he makes it believe like it was actually on him type shit.
Yeah, okay.
And I get, in a sense, I can understand him being at the hearing and denying all the shit that the council was giving him and shit. So that he's like, you know what, bro, it is Nick Fury. I don't want to see this motherfucker go to jail, go to prison or nothing. I want to keep him off like their
that's
their
true.
radar and
Yeah.
shit. But like I'm gonna fire him because it's the best thing.
No, but
It's best to fire him than send him to prison. and shit.
okay. So I guess another thing, right? Because the whole Skrulls idea, they want to start a war between the Americans and Russia and everything, right? Then I guess this maybe confirms that this Rhodey isn't a Skrull, because in the hearing, right, he's defending Nick Fury, and if he wanted if the Skrull, if he wanted the war to happen, wouldn't he have said,
Just
yeah, that is Nick Fury,
Throwing the
you know,
that makes
so maybe
sense.
he's not a Skrull, but yeah, I get what you mean. It does suck. It's like, fuck, bro, like, but I can see it like what you said. He's being professional about it, man. Like, it's not how things work. You caused this issue. I got to clean up your mess. Like, he's not necessarily taking it, and I could understand why Nick Fury is like frustrated, because he's not necessarily taking this whole
Thing serious.
exactly, right? And so anyway, he's like, yeah, so you're out. And then Nick Fury does a thing where he goes in front of him, he's like, no, even when I'm out, I'm in. And then he walks off type
Yeah,
shit.
bro.
And I'm like, dang.
He's like, you don't know who I am? I'm Nick Fury.
Yeah, I'm Nick Fury, man. Dang, man. But yeah, man. Hopefully
That's why I said this whole scene I felt like was my favorite scene in the episode.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did
That
like it a
because
lot.
also because it's like, damn, bro, it's been since Endgame since I've seen Rhodey. It's been a while. But also because
Yeah,
like
right?
that whole dialogue scene, like, and that's just my thing, bro. Like
been a
low
minute.
key. Okay, so I don't know if this is just me, bro, but like, it was my favorite scene because the dialogue was such on point. I remember being fully engaged to every word that was being exchanged. I remember Samuel L. Jackson being like, "Help a brother out," blah blah blah, and Don Cheadle or Rhodey is just keeping his composure, being professional, and being like, "Nope, fuck that, we can't do this," blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and just the whole dialogue going back and forth. And I feel like my brain has been brainwashed to expect that current MCU nowadays, bro, like dialogue conversations between people last like at max 2 minutes. But like this was a scene that
bro.
I felt
I think
like
you're right.
lasted a lot longer. It took its time for
Yeah.
them to have their conversation, for them to have their dialogue. The chemistry was there. You could tell that they were really at odds. The acting was on point. The dialogue was on point. I felt like I was watching a scene straight from Daredevil.
Or like the Batman.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It looked like
yeah.
I was watching a scene straight from like a superhero movie or TV show that didn't rely on action, like the Batman, like
No, yeah.
Netflix's Daredevil. Like it just felt like the drama. It centered more on drama and more dialogue and talking than big explosions and
That's true.
CGI shit.
And
Right?
unfortunately, man, I think people majority of people at least, just don't like that.
That sucks.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's boring as hell.
It's like it's
I
because
know
y'all
what you mean.
dumb.
Hey, man, they don't know what the fuck's going on. Right? Shout out to Danny. Danny don't even know what the fuck going on.
He's like,
Hey,
like, bro, shit hasn't exploded in 2 minutes.
I'm getting sick of this.
Like I'm getting.
Hold on, it's been 5 minutes without a joke. What's going on?
Like I'm getting sick of this. Like,
yeah,
when am I going to laugh at this bitch? It's a
That's
funeral,
funny.
Dan.
Hey, they got to throw in some shade.
Hey man, something
Like
funny.
some joke, yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like death can be funny. Like what?
Yeah, type. Fucking Danny, bro. Shout out to Danny, but yeah, okay. So now after that, right after the conversation with Nick Fury and Rhodey, fuck, what happens after this, bro?
After that, we see
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
because I know there's something else that happens before we see Nick Fury meet up with his wife. There's one other thing that happens. I'm just trying to remember what it was.
Oh,
the whole torture sequence shit with that one guy that was being chained to the chair.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, that's what happens. So who was that? Oh no, that guy. He was the guy that they captured from the first episode that had one of the decoy bags, and he was screaming, "I'm American! I'm American!" Remember that?
Yeah.
He was. I think he was that guy, and you know they were just torturing him, trying to figure out what they know, and then a woman pulls up. I don't know who that is. Who was that again?
Wasn't that the woman from the first episode? The one where Samuel Jackson gets
yeah, I
kidnapped?
think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I just guessed.
I think you're right. I think that is her.
Because I barely remember that bitch. I'm like, who is this girl who just kidnaps Nick Fury in the street and they're having a sip of...
Yeah, I think that's her,
Of
bro.
whiskey?
Yeah, I think that's her.
So when I saw this random chick, I'm like, who's this? I'm like, oh, I bet you it's that girl from the last episode that I barely remember.
I think
I'm
it
assuming it's
might
her.
be. If it's not, let us know in the comments, guys. Like, correct us. But yeah, I think it is. I think it might be her, and ends up torturing him and getting the information out where Gravik is building a machine to make scrolls stronger. Right?
They kept it vague, but yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. And we kind of get a glimpse of that when back at the headquarters, Gaia is on the computer, and we see that there's DNA samples that they have from Groot and who was it? Frost Beast, I think that was his name. Who else? There's like 3 more, I think.
There was I forgot his name, bro, but that big ass motherfucker from Infinity War.
Oh, I forgot his fucking name. All I saw, all I remember was seeing Groot, and then I think Frost Beast. I think that was his name, Frost Beast. And then it's Extermus. I forgot his fucking name. And there's like 3 more, and we just get that scene from the computer because Gaia's like researching Dalton, which Dalton is the guy I believe that they're like experimenting on with this machine. I think, right? I think it is.
Okay.
Do you know? I think it is.
I thought so.
Or who was Dalton again?
Well,
Remember they bring him up?
when the chick was torturing him and it was like, give me a name, and he said the word Dalton.
Yeah.
And when Gravik was like, did you tell him anything? He's like, no, I just fed him lies. I thought he was telling the truth.
Yeah, I think it was the truth, bro. And it was the truth because then Gravik like realized, like he like saw through him, and then remember they executed him.
Yeah.
that was gnarly.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Damn, what the fuck? But yeah, okay. So who the fuck is? So I still don't know. Dalton. I'm assuming that's who he is because remember, Gaia types his name
Yeah.
in the computer, and then those things pop up. Remember that?
Maybe it's just a code name. Maybe it's not a person.
What I think is it's the person that like probably like the first experiment to like combine these DNA samples to that person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's
the
that's what I think. I think that's what that is.
okay.
Does it say? Because
Dr. Rosa Dalton. It's a person's name.
Dr. Rosa Dalton. Fuck, man. Fuck, I don't fucking know.
Midway through the episode, Gia began questioning Garavic's motives. So it says Gia began questioning Garavic's motives and figured out that her fearless leader was not being entirely truthful to her. This led her to follow another Skrull henchman to a secret lab where he began speaking to a scientist. That chick that he goes and talks to.
Oh, yes, that's the one.
I remember this chick right here. Look. I got a picture.
Yes, that scene. Yes,
Bro,
she's the one that's making the machine of the DNAs and like all that shit.
No, I get you. I was confused.
That's
bro.
the girl.
I feel like, dude, like this episode, bro, just has like scenes in it that don't feel important, so we forget, and then we find out, oh shit, that was important.
Low key, right? That. Low key.
Like that bitch in the first episode who kidnapped Nick Fury in the middle of the street.
Oh yeah,
we see her again in episode 2, and I legit.
Well, we think that's her.
Exactly.
We think that's her.
We don't know. We're like,
yeah,
why is this bitch even? And like, why is this bitch even in this show, bro? Like, what's she gonna do?
No, yeah, you're right.
But like, yeah, okay, so that's who it was. So that's
Dalton.
Important. I did not know that.
Yeah, because she's the one. Yeah, because I remember because that girl that was interrogating one of the Skrulls was saying like, because once he reveals, oh yeah, Gravik is making a machine to make us stronger. She says, who's the scientist or who's the person that's helping you? And that's the girl. And that's when she says, he says Dalton. He mentions Dalton's. Remember that? That's who he's referring to. So no, he wasn't saying lies. Yeah. Okay, so that's who that person is. Yeah, which is making that machine, gathering DNA, and maybe they're gonna use this DNA to combine, with Skrulls, and that's how they get these powers. Because, like I said, I haven't read the Secret Invasion storyline back in what was it again, 2014 or something
like that. Yeah.
But Danny has. I remember Danny said that those Skrulls legit would transform into like fucking superheroes.
Yeah.
They transform into Captain America, all these different things. And I don't know if it's like just for them to look at them and maybe like register how they combat, and then they could mimic it on some like Taskmaster shit.
Right.
Or like if it is that way in the comics, okay, cool. Maybe here the way they explain it is how these Skrulls have the same powers as like maybe the Hulk or Captain America or whatever, is by getting their DNA samples and then injecting them to them or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on. And so yeah, that's what happens. That's what we learn. We got, like I said, Groot, all these different DNA samples that Gaia looks up, and poor guy that got interrogated, man. He got killed. Remember that scene? I was like,
that was some Narcos shit.
Yeah, right. They just
drag him to the middle of nowhere. I felt like some Narcos shit, like, or some Breaking Bad shit.
Did he know? Like, did that the guy that got like questioned shit? Did he know that was gonna happen? Yeah, right. Because then he said something like, "Oh, are we almost home or some shit?" Remember that? And the guy's like, "Oh yeah," and like he drags him out, takes him to like that in the forest, and they just stand, like he just makes him stand there and he shoots him. So to me, he's like, did he know that he was gonna get executed there? Like, I don't know, but I was like, yeah, that was some narco shit. Like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, that's how we find out. That's what they're planning on doing. Nick Fury is still, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, trying to stop him. The Skrulls want to start World War III essentially, while powering up their own people via this machine. I guess some DNA samples from other heroes, other characters, and yeah, it's gonna be a full on war. And I think after this, I think that's where we get that scene, right, with Nick Fury ends up going back to his house, right?
And meets up with his wife.
We're not missing anything else important, right? I don't think so. I think we pretty much I think we pretty much covered everything major. And once again, man, I like this episode. I really liked it. I liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. I guess let's go with our ratings. I'm gonna give my rating for it. I'm gonna give this one an 8. I liked it too, man.
I felt like this episode was way better than the first one.
Okay.
I give this one like an 8.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I like them both like equally, bro. Like so far so good. Dude, what was the last Marvel show that we got? What was it, bro?
Show?
Yeah. Was it Miss Marvel? Or She-Hulk?
Was She-Hulk after Miss Marvel?
I think Miss Marvel was after She-Hulk.
Really?
I think so, bro.
I can look it up.
Yeah, look it up really quickly.
Hold on.
Even though Miss Marvel, I liked Miss Marvel though.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. But She-Hulk, it was like, hey man.
But what?
But She-Hulk, that shit.
Oh, She-Hulk, yeah, no, trash.
Yeah, man, She-Hulk was tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. Do you have it? Okay, but
it was Miss Marvel then She-Hulk.
Oh shit. Okay, so last Marvel show was She-Hulk.
and then Werewolf by Night,
Oh
and
wow.
then Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Oh wow. Speaking of Werewolf by Night, man, I really like that short film or whatever.
Right.
I wonder when we're gonna see him again.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Or like, was it like its own thing? Was it even a part of the MCU?
Was it, or I don't know. Maybe
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
But yeah, I really like that one. But yeah, guys. So that's the end of episode 2 of Secret Invasion. We gave our rating. We both gave it the first one. Hav gave it a 7.5. I gave it an 8. The second one, I gave it an 8. We both gave it an 8. And yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. It really means a lot. And actually, hold on. What am I doing?
What?
Hold on, guys. I was about to end the fucking show. Hold on. Oh my! I completely forgot. I have questions, bro.
Oh.
I have questions. Remember that?
Yeah.
Guys, holy fuck. Hey, man. Some people probably clicked off when they started hearing me. Hey, man, it's gonna be the end of the episode. Fuck. No, you know what? If you guys still listening, y'all real ones, I'm gonna edit in the very beginning of the podcast. I'm gonna edit an insert saying, "Hey guys, I completely forgot. Like, stay till the very end because that's when we're gonna answer like questions." Dude, I fucking forgot.
That, or people could just look at the runtime and be like, "Why is there 30 minutes left?"
That's true. That's true. But yeah, bro,
Fuck, I
I
didn't
fucking
remember
questions.
that.
So yeah, guys. Okay, so what's up, bro?
I was gonna close this.
Oh yeah, close that real quick. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, bro, I'm tripping out here, dude. I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, I completely.
Dude, I don't know why I thought we already did that, like in the beginning. I feel
No,
like
because remember we're gonna because we go on tangents, bro.
I know, bro.
So,
I thought we did. Oh, you know what it was, bro?
What?
I think that Craven tangent is what made me think that we already did the questions, so we were just gonna end
Yeah,
the show.
low key, huh?
Fuck.
Okay, so yeah, I got a few questions here, guys. I completely fucking forgot, dude. Okay. So yeah, now we're at the end of the show, guys. We're gonna answer some of your questions and comments and everything. This one's gonna be from Sheldon, Sheldon M.
Okay.
This is I believe this is a question more so so yeah, he says, "Hey, I've been thinking about this for a bit now after the Flash movie, and it's about audience knowing what movie is connected to the DCU and ones that are Elseworld. My sister asked me a question about Batman, saying, I'm confused, so who's the Batman now? I thought they were going to put Robert Pattinson in it. I explained to her about it, saying, oh, he's not part of this continuity. He's on his own standalone movie. They're going to add a different Batman for this continuity. And she's still confused and doesn't get it. It makes me wonder, are people going to be confused about this whole situation? Which movie/character is connected and which is not? I don't know. I thought it was common sense, LOL. By the way, the Flash review was great and fun. Hey, man, shout out to you.
Sweet.
But yeah, and I responded to him, but like I said, I'm gonna bring this up and like get your thoughts on it. Yeah,
I feel like so what he's saying right now, bro. This is actually a point that I've brought up.
Yeah.
A couple times already in past podcasts.
Right.
From what I remember, I know I brought this point up when we talked about James Gunn's DC slate.
Yes.
I know I brought it up because Danny had made a point and I had made a counterpoint to his argument.
Right.
Where it involved this, right? And not to sound like a broken record, but I guess to answer his questions, right, out of respect, I'll retell the point that I had made before, and that is, and I'll even use the same words as I said it the last 2 times, is people need to wisen the fuck up.
Okay.
Remember when I said this? Like
I think so. Which one was it? Which pod was it?
So I know for sure I mentioned it once on the James Gunn DC slate.
Oh, okay.
And I think I mentioned it one other time, but I can't remember when. But basically, I was just saying that like people just need to know ahead of time what's going on with these movies, like, and they need to understand what it is. So, yeah, it can be confusing, bro. But like, in a sense, like, it's just something that needs to try to be explained a little better. Like, you just got to explain to people, like, hey, man, like, no, Robert Pattinson is his own thing. It's like, I don't get it, but like, why? Like, I thought he was gonna merge with the DC, and it's like, no. And you just gotta explain why.
Right.
I feel like the reason why it's so confusing to people, I don't want to throw disrespect or no shade, but I feel like it's because people don't do a good job of properly explaining the reasons why. I feel like if a person lacks the why, they can't understand it
Yeah, that's true.
completely. So if I had to explain, like you said, this was from Sheldon, correct?
Sheldon.
Right. So Sheldon, if this was me trying to explain it to your sister, bro, then I guess to your sister I would say that the reason why Robert Pattinson's Batman is not in this universe is because James Gunn recognizes that the tone and the setting and the environment of that Batman world could never fit in this DC universe that he's trying to create.
Yeah.
Tonally, they're just too different. So what he did was he marked Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman, the Robert Pattinson, right, as Elseworlds. Well, what the fuck is Elseworlds? Elseworlds is DC's way of making DC property, so like another DC movie on any superhero, villain, whatever the fuck they want, but it takes place, but it doesn't connect to the main DC.
Yeah.
And in a sense, he does this to, it's, I think it was a genius idea for him to introduce Elseworlds because it gives creators, like different directors and writers and stuff, it gives them a chance to make a DC superhero movie in their own way. Like, it gives them 110% all the creative control that they can without having to worry of like continuity errors, like will it line up with the bigger DCU or how's this going to set up Justice League. No, that all doesn't matter. You know, Matt Reeves is out there creating his own Batman universe because he's behind Batman 2, the Penguin show, the Arkham show, all that. So he's out there doing his own thing. He doesn't have to worry about what James Gunn's trying to do with his main DC shit.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So that's the reason why. It's because it was marked Elseworlds, right?
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson Batman is Elseworlds, which means it's unconnected. It's its own thing. And the reason why there's gonna be another Batman is because you can't have a DC universe without a Batman in that bitch. What the fuck? Like, that's like having a Marvel universe without Spider-Man. Like, you gotta have that motherfucker in it. It's just that now it's because that Batman is for that thing, that disconnected thing over there, but we need one that's going to be for this main thing right here. That's why we have multiple Batmans type of thing. You know what I mean? But that's basically why.
Yeah, and like Elseworlds is a thing now because of how much of a mess the DCU universe was. You know, and it's one thing to make a negative turn into a positive, right? That's one thing that I do like. Okay, DC has their own movies and stuff because MCU they don't have that. MCU is like pretty much straightforward. Everything's connected, and I think that's why it's more successful.
Oh, never mind.
What?
I thought you were gonna say that's why more people are more confused with DC.
Oh no, that too.
Because they're so used to just being everything is connected, like in the MCU.
I was about to continue on and mention that.
Gotcha.
No, yeah. So that's what I say. That's why it's more successful, and that's why it's less confusing with people MCU. So when people love the MCU, and especially it's a lot of majority of them are, I would say, like just casual. They just like them. They don't know too much about the characters themselves from the source material. Like they don't care like super much, or whatever. So when they go to DC, they're expecting the same thing, from the MCU, And to answer this question, he says, are people gonna keep like? Are people gonna be still confused about the situation?
Mm-hmm.
And I responded to him. I said, unfortunately, man, yes, because if we're gonna be honest, most people watching these movies are mostly casual watchers.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's just that they're not gonna be like you and I have, where we fucking, without even recording a pod, we'll have a discussion about it, like trying to figure out what the fuck's going on and stuff. And even with us, when it happened, we were confused, and we confused in the sense that not the Elseworlds part, but confused in the sense where is DCEU technically the main continuity because the Flash is the reason why it switched the timeline. So is it technically a part of James Gunn's DCU? It's just it got reset because of the Flash. And so even us, with all the knowledge that we have, we're still kind of like confused a bit. We're like, what the fuck's going on? So I can only imagine people who aren't necessarily are like us, who really want to look up into it and like really find answers and stuff. You know what I mean? And I think there's less of us And then there's more people who are just casuals, like who just aren't going to do this. They're not going to have these combos or care enough to have those combos.
But I'll even,
I
get where you're coming from, bro. But I also, what I want to do is I want to take your point and connect it to mine, to where I say, like, well, people just need to wisen up and try to understand. But like, there's going to be, like,
you're right.
I would make the argument, bro, that if people are confused, it's because.
But that's the thing, they don't care, Hav. They don't care enough. Like, sure, they're confused, but like,
well, okay,
kind of like how his sister reacted. She's like, okay, she's still confused. She's not gonna go out there and look up a YouTube video or like.
Well, here's my thing.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's my thing. I don't know, man. Like, what if his sister is into the superhero shit? Because let's be real.
You could be into it, but not that much though. Like, I like Spider-Man, but like, I don't like it enough to where like I'm reading the comics or like I'm actually looking into like really going in depth with it.
The only reason why I make the argument is because I feel like any other casual who doesn't give a fuck wouldn't even ask that question to begin with.
You think so?
Hell no. I know if I went up to my sister, if she get like, there's never in a million years I would never bet money that she's gonna come up to me and be like, hey, so like, why are there two Batmans? She's just gonna be like, oh, another Batman movie, cool. I'll have my boyfriend take me. He gets to pay for popcorn and everything. I just get to be there and be on my phone all day.
Mountain Dew, no ice. Throw Mountain Dew, no ice with that bitch.
But like, I just know like casuals
so.
like that would never question it. They'll just be like, oh, okay, another superhero movie comes out this Friday, whatever.
All right.
But like, I feel like if she asked the questions because she somehow something in her brain clicked, which mean and like she had to think about it. And typical casuals wouldn't go that far to think about the continuity and how things don't line up.
But like, even
so I feel like she's invested in some way.
Okay, but is she invested, or those people, right, in general, are they invested enough to fucking try to figure it out? My point is, no, I don't think so. I don't think they're invested enough to have these convos like that we're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
And like obsessing over it in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think majority of people are that way, are like that. So I think that's why I think they're still going to remain confused. And sure, you could say wisen up. True, but I think personally, like, they're just going to like not necessarily like take the time out of their day and actually really like try to find the answers to it, if that makes sense. You know, but it is what it is, man. DC, it was a shit show. James Gunn got to clean it up, and hopefully when James Gunn takes over, it's fucking lit. But okay, so yeah, let's move on to the next question. So next question is from Hermes.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
let me get ready, bro.
The Soups hater.
He's gonna start throwing shade at other people.
Nah, he's cool on this one. He actually asked a good question right here.
Okay,
he's full of good questions. I mean, all you guys' questions are good, but like this man is like really trying to like pick our brain, man. He says, "Hello, I had a question. Can you guys go in depth about how you feel about the multiverse fatigue? I feel like this is happening in every superhero movie in which we are getting time travel, superhero cameos, and different worlds being shown. To me, it seems like lazy writing, and I want a proper superhero movie with the hero versus one villain, fight to the death. It's being said the Deadpool movie will also be in a multiverse and time travel films with cameos. I'm worried about this as it can be boring and something we already see. But anyways, what do you guys think? Thanks." And I guess to add on to his point, we saw that I guess the new Invincible season is going to deal with the multiverse.
Which is crazy, because...
So, like...
Dude, I never even finished reading the Invincible comics, but I don't think they ever dealt with the multiverse. I could be wrong. I can Google... It's one Google search away.
Yeah, you can
Google
it.
Hey, man, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just making up plot points because multiverse is just hot right now.
But that goes back to his point.
Yeah, exactly.
Is like, what the fuck, man? This is all we're seeing from superhero films. And I kind of agree with him, bro. It's kind of true. We are seeing a lot of it. And even with Invincible, right? They announced that with it. And he's basically saying it's like lazy writing. Interesting. I think what it is, I could kind of see why you would think it's lazy writing, because it's like, oh, it's because it's hot. Kind of like when Fortnite blew up with the Battle Royale. Everybody was making Battle Royale games and shit. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So I think, and I guess the real question is, right? And this is actually like pretty interesting, actually, because we've had this convo before. You know, everyone's asked about is superhero fatigue. Superhero fatigue, is that an actual thing, right?
Yep.
But the real question is, is there a superhero multiverse fatigue?
Mm.
You know, what do you think, Hav?
I think I'm gonna just connect it back to the original answer that I had before, and I think no.
Yeah.
I personally
Okay.
believe that the multiverse fatigue is not real, just like how superhero fatigue wasn't real. And I'm just gonna sound like a broken record because I'm just gonna repeat myself from when I answered that question a few podcasts ago, but I think what it is, bro, is that if you want to make a movie that deals with the multiverse interesting, you just got to be able to know how to tell a good story with it, and not rely the multiverse, not rely that the novelty of a multiverse and potentially seeing references and Easter eggs because you're dealing with multiverse carry the movie.
Yeah.
Which is something that I feel like Across the Spider-Verse could have easily been victim of. Especially when they introduced the Spider Society. They could have literally heavily relied on just the references and just the Easter eggs of, oh my god, Insomniac Spider-Man from the game. Oh shit, there's Toby and Andrew. Oh shit, there's, Spider-Man from the 1960s cartoon. Like, they could have heavily, just relied on nothing but references and Easter eggs and shit like that. But the Easter eggs and everything, yeah, that's cool, but, you're not really telling an overall good story.
Right.
You need to have a good story with good characters first, and have the references and Easter eggs kind of be like the icing on the cake. It kind of it's extra, but the foundation is still there.
No, yeah. And
I feel like with multiverse fatigue and superhero fatigue in general, if you want to be a little more broader, it's just all the same to me. I don't think there is fatigue. Is it happening a lot of?
Yes.
Yes, it is happening a lot. But as long as they can do something good with it, something unique with it, I don't really know.
And as long as as long as it's good.
Right. It's like, for me, it's like, well, I don't really see what is there to really complain about if they're going about it a proper way.
What if remember how you said The Boys takes real life shit?
Yeah.
What if The Boys goes multiverse shit?
I'll be like, wow, okay, now we're actually
All right.
now we're actually in this bitch. Like, I thought we were deep enough with Invincible, but now The Boys is doing this shit. Like,
I mean, hey, with Invincible, we probably have enough multiverse movies to rank superhero movies,
that's
man.
facts, huh?
Well, what? Multiverse of Madness, the Flash,
Across the Spider-Verse, No Way Home,
No Way Home, fucking Invincible, I guess.
Invincible,
that's 5 right there.
The season 2.
I think that's it so far, right? For superhero.
I believe so. I mean, I guess you want to include the CW. How they did their Crisis on Infinite Earths event and shit, all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's true, right? I mean, if you want to include another multiverse, Everything Everywhere All at Once, fuck it,
right?
Right?
It's not even a superhero, but it's still multiverse.
And it was, that's what I'm saying. So that's interesting, man. I never really, I guess, Invincible. When I saw this, I think that's when it opened my eyes. I was like, oh shit, another multiverse.
It opened my eyes because I was like, because I thought about it and I was like, bro.
I would say you were reading the comics, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had put it down, but I got to get back into it. But I had never heard of anyone mention that the comics dealt with the multiverse.
Yeah, me neither.
So part of me was like, okay, are they just
improvising
the show?
It's
are
hot.
They exactly?
Oh no,
that's what I'm saying. Where I'm just like, man, are they gonna stray off from the source material because multiverse is hot right now? Which, hey, don't get me wrong. Of course, that could fuck them up, low key. It could fuck them up, fuck that show up because they could just be going to the multiverse shit because it's hot right now and it's what's big and blah blah blah. But like I said, man, if they can do something with the multiverse and they can try to do something where they can tell a good story behind it, you know what I mean? Like if there's gonna be if season 2 of Invincible deals with him meeting multiple Invincibles, it's like, well, this is an Invincible from a world where blah 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 and this and that, and but they can try to tell a good story between these different Invincibles or these different Omni-Mans or whatever,
right?
Then I feel like we should be straight. Like I said, it's just, I'm gonna bring it back to the original point. I just feel like as long as there is a good story to be told and they execute it properly, then that's all that matters.
That's true. But I guess what could kind of maybe counter that, bro, is if you're just doing it just because it's hot, then the risk of it not being good is higher.
No, yeah, for
Does that make sense?
That's why
You know what I mean?
that's why the writing needs to be there.
Yeah.
It's got to be A1. It has to be on point, otherwise
Yeah,
it could
man.
fail.
Fuck.
Because then the argument is made of, bruh, look at these dumb motherfuckers. They stray away from the source material, make up their own shit,
And it's not even good.
and it flops. Like y'all should have just stuck to the source
And
material.
because look, some of y'all are gonna hate me, man.
Uh-oh.
I didn't even seen Invincible. I didn't even finish it.
It's so good, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying. So
good.
I heard it's fire, right?
Fire.
So for the second season to not be fire, that's gonna
Bro.
that's gonna suck.
And on top of that,
You know what I mean?
when Invincible came out, bro, the one big complaint that I heard everyone say was that the animation was kind of mid.
Really?
Yeah.
From the first episode that I saw, I mean, I
It's
liked it a lot.
because like what happens,
Yeah.
bro, is like you're gonna like you'll notice it when you watch the show. Like there's
Oh,
going to be
okay.
certain fight scenes and stuff where you're gonna be like the animation kind of looks dull,
Mm.
but that's because Amazon openly admitted that they didn't put a lot of budget into that show
Because they didn't think like it was gonna pop off like that.
They thought it would do good because it's based off a comic series and superheroes are hot right now. It's just that's a given. On top of that, the comic books were written by Robert Kirkman, who wrote the Walking Dead comics.
Yeah.
And the Invincible, while it never went super mainstream and wasn't as hot as the Walking Dead comics, was still pretty good seller. And they were like, yeah, fuck it, let's make it into
Try
a
it
show.
out.
And you know what? Since it's connected to Robert Kirkman, and Robert Kirkman, worked on The Walking Dead, will cast Walking Dead actors to voice the characters in the show.
I had no idea. What the hell?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Glenn plays Mark. He
Oh,
plays
wow.
Invincible. Glenn?
I had no idea.
Yeah. And then
That's
you
pretty
remember Morgan?
Uh-huh.
He's
Morning.
the dude that saves Rick. He's the one that fights with the stick.
stick,
He
yeah.
voices the Batman character.
Oh,
that Batman
that
character.
guy. Okay.
Yeah. You remember Abraham, the redheaded dude with the big ass the
Oh, yes,
the big ass
yes,
mustache?
I remember.
What do you call that again? The
Okay.
handlebar mustache.
What is that? It's not a goatee. It's I forgot what it's called.
But
I know what you're talking about.
that guy, he voices the Flash character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, they even went as far as to be like, let's go star studded with the cast, dude. They got J.K. Simmons.
Where's
bro.
Rick Grimes at?
Low key, huh? I was kind of salty about that. Hey,
Rick
season
Grimes.
2, man.
We just gotta wait and see, right?
Season 2.
But yeah, that was a good question. So yeah, okay. So yeah, we hope that answers your questions, Ramis, bro. Shout out, man. You really do be bringing out the really great questions. Okay, so the last thing is with Josue. Boy, Josue. I kind of had like a little dispute with him.
Oh man,
Like a little dispute because like
what did Josu say?
He said Joe. All right, so look, I'm gonna just read out everything he says. Actually,
Oh, no.
yeah. I mean, some of the points. I mean, the points that he's bringing up, I don't really agree with.
Oh, he's an op now.
He an op, bro. He an op. Jose. Nah, we're playing, man. If you guys disagree with us, it don't matter. I mean, Hav and I would disagree sometimes too in like some pods and shit. You know. So yeah, he says, "What's up, Hector? I know I've been liking stories and viewing them in post too. I know I took way too long to reply, but I'm back. And I'm gonna be honest, I listened to the Flash Pod over and over and over again to grab the grasp and understand what was going on and fully understand your guys' analysis and obviously the answers to my questions. But anyways, thank you. I understand everything about canon and how it works and what it means. Yeah, I know.
Because Mario couldn't.
Hey man,
Hey man, all these movies right here,
they're just canon.
They're canon.
They're canon, man. They're real.
You're welcome.
For real. Fucking Mario. But anyways, thank you. Understood everything about canon and how it works and what it means. And y'all are just so damn funny, bro. Y'all had me motherfucking dying. I guess what made me think canon was at first is because you guys would say that it's canon or it's not canon. And I think I understand more now when I hear canon event. Also, is canon and can only the same thing? Also, is canon and can only the same thing? Is canon and can only?
I don't think I've ever heard of can only.
Me neither.
This is the first time I've heard of it.
Unless he just means canon only or something. I don't know. But
I can look it up. All right, but yeah, go ahead.
he says, so yeah, that's one of them. And also thank you for the explanation on the canon event on the Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse. I wanted to know the canon event in Spider-Man No Way Home, but Hav explained that So let him know I said thank you, and I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but was MJ Zendaya supposed to die? Because I think that was another canon event, or maybe I'm just slow. So he's asking, is the scene where Zendaya was supposed to like die, or like remember when MJ's falling? He's asking, was that supposed to be a canon event? But it got interrupted because of Andrew Garfield type shit.
And let me guess, because it was interrupted, why were there no black holes destroying the Earth like Spider-Man India's? I'm assuming that's what he's thinking.
Well, maybe because he says, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man was gonna save her, but he didn't, and that's when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man jumped in and he saved her. And fans are saying that he redeemed himself for not being able to save Emma Stone's version of MJ. But I wanted to know if that was another canon event. So this is one question. And he says, ooh, one more thing. So obviously we know that Robert Pattinson's Batman can't be in the Justice League, which I already knew. I'm slow, but ain't that slow. So does that mean Matt Reeves' Batman is not canon to the Justice League?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like Josue, man. He be asking a bunch of questions, bro. But okay, let's break this down, guys. Okay.
So the
first one was, is canon and Ken only the same thing?
Oh yeah, here.
Did you find that out?
I tried looking it up, but like it's not giving me. Or canonly?
Canonly? I mean, he says can only.
I know, with a hyphen.
Yeah, he says.
And I looked it up, and it's not giving me that. It's giving me someone can only. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Do something, and then
Maybe
but like
canonly?
the only one that
I think he meant that, bro.
Okay,
I think he meant
if it's
that.
this
Canonly
without the hyphen. So if you just spell that word out without the hyphen in the middle, the definition just says according to the canon or canonically.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. Though.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, that can't, that, it's like, that happened canonly. That just means like, oh, okay, so it happened.
It sounds like canonically.
I've always said that. I feel like that's more grammatically correct.
Well, either way, bro, it's gonna be the same thing,
It's
bro.
gonna mean the same
yeah,
thing.
it's gonna mean the same thing.
So you're Gucci on that, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same thing. Okay, so his next question is, he's asking if Zendaya, if her dying from No Way Home, was that a canon event and was that interrupted?
So for that,
Interesting
bro,
question.
So for that, I got two answers.
Yeah.
How do I put this? I got two answers for that. They're both very different. The movie logic, I'm gonna just use movie logic. Answer to that is that technically speaking, Spider-Man 2099 says that every Spider-Man experiences loss. Okay. And in Tom Holland's case, that was Aunt May.
Aunt May.
When she delivers with great power comes great responsibility, and she dies in his arms. So technically that was his canon event. Right? So Zendaya not dying was probably not supposed to be the canon event, which is why it was okay for Andrew Garfield to save her and stuff. But that's me using my movie logic, thinking logistically from the movie's perspective.
Yeah.
However, my other answer is, if you want to think about it realistically, Across the Spider-Verse came out just under 2 years after No Way Home. And back then, there was no such thing as a canon event. That didn't become a thing until this movie came out.
Okay.
So I understand where he's coming from, where he's like, wait a minute, but Miles saved the captain in that one world, and then those black holes started coming out of nowhere and started like eating up the world. So if Andrew saved Zendaya, wouldn't the same thing happen? And I think at the time, the reason why obviously that didn't happen is because Across the Spider-Verse was still in the making and had not come out by the time No Way Home had come out. And they didn't know what the other movie was going to do and shit like that. I feel like realistically, that's just kind of how it happened.
Right. I can see that, but like, wouldn't it be? I think Across the Spider-Verse is what introduced the canon event in a sense where they brought it up. But if we really think about it, wouldn't just these canon events, these things that always happens in the superhero like different multiverse, whatever, isn't that already implied? Because if it's a different timeline or a different universe, right? Some things happen and some things are different, like regardless, if that makes sense. So let's say the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, that's a different universe, and him losing MJ, like falling like that, maybe that was also supposed to happen here in Tom Holland. You know what I mean? Because that happened in that universe, but then he got saved. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Not gonna lie, fuck man, it is kind of confusing. But that is a good question, right? To think about. It's like, oh, well, was she supposed to die? Because even in 616 comics, Gwen Stacy dies, because of the Green Goblin. So, and then obviously they did it here in the movie. She dies and stuff, and I guess Zendaya was almost about to die, and I could have sworn in Tobey Maguire Spider-Man wasn't MJ like close to dying too, and like Peter saves her too.
Maybe.
You remember?
If I remember, I mean,
Dang, you don't remember?
Her a lot, bro. He saves her a lot.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So
that's a good question, Josue, man. Hopefully we answered that. If not, like, let me know, man. We'll try our best. But yeah, it is kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie. And so obviously his last question is, Robert Pattinson's Batman can't be in the Justice League, which I already knew. Mm-hmm. So does that mean Matt Reeves' Batman is not canon to the Justice League?
It is not canon to the previous Justice League movies and any future Justice League movies.
Yes, unless they do a Justice League in his universe,
which would never make sense.
Yeah, and Matt Reeves' universe, which that wouldn't happen. But yeah, Matt Reeves' Batman is not going to be canon to like the future James Gunn's Justice League, or it's not. It's also not connected to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yep.
So yeah,
because it's Elseworlds. It's not connected
exactly.
to the main DC universe.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah, he has another question, but I think this is where I started disputing.
Oh no.
Let me see. So he says, watching the Flash movie and listening to the pod, this is just my opinion, and I don't know how accurate this is. Just keep in mind, it's just an opinion, but I don't think Reverse Flash needed to be in this film.
Why?
He's about to tell me. Look, he says, I don't think the Reverse Flash needed to be in this film. And I understand the movie was based on the Flashpoint, but I don't think he needed to be in this film because we already know how his mother dies and what he does to rewrite all of it. Sorry, man. It's just sorry, Josue, man. There's the grammar going off, man. It's the grammar, man. I can't. You're making me feel dyslexic right now. Where was I, man? We already know how his mother dies and what he does to rewrite all of it, of what he did in the Flashpoint when he goes and saves his mom from dying. And then his new present is different, and so much changes, and it affects his new present. And then he has to go back and let his mother die. And that's what Hav mentions when he wants to reverse Flash to kill his mom. And he says, I want to hear you say it. Meaning he wants him to kill Barry's mom. Basically, my point is we already got this version of the Flashpoint in the CW TV show.
That's facts.
So with that being said, if Reverse Flash was in this film, it would be like putting Uncle Ben in Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man.
Dude, I had made the argument that Tom Holland needed Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I know. But he's saying it's like... His argument is like, why do that again when we already got it? It's somewhere else.
Yeah, it's...
So, like, want to hear my response?
Yeah, sure.
So I respond to him. I can see your point, but my point is, logically speaking, wouldn't Barry want to know who killed his mom instead of trying to stop it from happening? Logically, you would want to figure out how she got stabbed, Also, there wasn't a real villain in this movie as well. That's just what I think, man. But hey, if we disagree, it's all cool. I'm like, sometimes me and Hobby disagree. And he says, no, there wasn't. He responds with, no, there wasn't a villain in this film. I feel like they just focus on the fact that he could travel through time. In doing so, worlds collide and cause the Flashpoint and finding other versions of himself and him getting his powers back. So nothing too important. And also, I don't know if y'all noticed that the Speedster in Eternals, Makari is getting more appreciation since the CGI in the Flash movie was garbage.
That's funny.
And he says, and if we did get Reverse Flash, then DC and James Gunn would have said movies canceled, motherfuckers. Just go watch the Flash TV show. So like, yeah, he'd be like, man, if the Reverse Flash was in this, they would have been like, man, don't even watch this. If you want to see Reverse Flash and Flashpoint, go watch CW. Right, and this was my response. I said, but the CW is not the main continuity.
That's facts.
This is the main continuity.
That's
the DCEU and the DCU.
Yeah, that's facts.
And then I said I'll bring up your points and thoughts and stuff with yeah. So.
Well, even then,
He just responds, "Bro, just agree with me," with crying emoji. And then he responds to my like CW thing. He's like, "Yeah, you're right, bro. I didn't think of that when I said the CW is not the main continuity."
Yeah.
So like that was just
well,
my.
not
argument.
only that. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a valid argument. What you're saying is facts. But I also make the argument that it's like, well, yeah, but let's be real. The CW people, like the people who watch the CW DC shows, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, all that bullshit, that's their own fandom.
Yeah.
Like, that's their own little thing. But, like, if you take the broader superhero audience, not everyone is going to watch the CW shows for whatever
That's
reason.
true.
Like, you haven't.
I haven't. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, so my thing is, like, because, yes, it's also because the movies, right, is the main DC continuity. It's also a matter of, like, well, they already did that storyline in the show, or they already did it in this and that. And it's like, yeah, but you should also still try to establish the storylines for the new generation, for the people who still are not familiar. That's kind of how I personally see it.
No, you're right. I mean, even then, bro, it's like, no, you're right. Not many people are gonna watch the CW show, and like I said, it kind of goes back into like, how do I explain this, man? How do I explain this? For Tom Holland, right? For MCU, we still got that Uncle Ben type story
with Aunt May.
Exactly. So like but like the thing is, using his argument, it's like we didn't need that. We didn't need that because we already saw that in these other movies. And like what you said, no, we need to see Uncle Ben die again for Tom Holland, whatever.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a different continuity. It's a different universe. Mm-hmm. Well, technically now, it's part of the MCU, but it's still a different universe.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is like because this is a whole completely different universe, and this is essentially the main continuity in a sense of like real life, where like it's the main like big one, like kind of like the MCU or whatever, right? I'm comparing it to like the movies, like movie continuity, like movie universe. Because CW is like the show, and like that's it. Like this is the big dog. So yeah, I think we needed to see it again here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's just my argument. But yeah, he's funny, man. He's like, just agree with me, man. Come on. He's like, just agree with me.
I don't take no L's.
I mean, I could be. I mean, what do you guys think, man? Let us know. Ramis, everyone else, Luis, like, people listening to this pod. What do you guys think? Like, did we need to see the Reverse Flash in the Flash, or not? Like, do you guys agree with Josue? We're like, nah, not really, because we already got it. But like I said, it still doesn't make sense because logically speaking, why would Barry not want to know who fucking bro? He literally gets to the kitchen and his mom is stabbed next, and then his dad is right next to her. Logically speaking, wouldn't you like? And they do this in the comics, obviously, and I guess in the show. Wouldn't you want to know who the fuck killed your mom? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't they do that in the show, right? Like he wanted to see who did it, and that's how he finds out.
Yes.
Same in the comics. And that makes sense, but they instead of like, who the fuck killed my mom? Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna just make sure she don't die by like getting the tomato right. Like, you know what I mean, bro? It just doesn't make sense.
I know, bro. It doesn't.
It's just kind of weird. It's like, what the fuck?
I know.
And obviously, the argument was the director said, like, if this movie did well, that the Reverse Flash was the villain, and he was supposed to come in the sequel of the Flash. But even then, bro, even if it came after this movie, it still did not make sense that the very beginning, the start of this movie, he's not, when he finds out he could go back in time, he doesn't think about, man, who killed my mom? No, that's not what he thinks about. You know what I mean, bro?
And here's my dude.
It's like, what the fuck?
But here's my biggest fucking gripe.
Oh shit. Okay.
That I have with not just superhero movies, but movies in general, bro, is that I hate when directors make the argument where like, oh, we know that the fans want to see this.
Yeah.
Like, y'all want to see this. So we're going to save it for the sequel. And it's like, bro, why? Like, y'all know we want to see it. Why are you making us wait?
We want to do our own thing.
It's like, what the fuck what are you talking about? Like, okay, I'll give you a good example. Venom. Like, if you had to think of, okay, whatever, right? They made Venom an anti-hero. He should have been a villain, but whatever, he's an anti-hero. If you had to pick someone For Venom to fight, that's not Spider-Man. Who would you pin him against?
Carnage.
Yeah. And we were like, oh, so obviously he's going to fight Carnage, right? Because that only makes sense. And the director, fun fact, is also the director of the guy who did Zombieland. He directed,
oh, really?
He directed the first Venom movie.
Oh, wow.
He was like, you know, we feel like there's another symbiote Venom character out there that the fans really want to see. So he was clearly out of the discussion. We were going to save him for the sequel. So we just said, who's the next like best option? And we went with I forgot
who
the
was it? Who
Riot,
was the villain, bro?
Riot. And he's like, we went with Riot because, you know, we thought that his colored symbiote was cool, the gunmetal gray. What? What are you talking about? What is your issue? What? Fuck you. What are you talking about, bro?
And hold on. And another thing, bro, speaking of the Flash, right?
Okay.
Speaking of the Flash,
Okay.
Warner Bros., they said, nah, fuck this shit. We give up. And they pulled the movie from thousands of fucking theaters, bro. Bro, what the fuck? Because they weren't making any money, bro. They lost hella money, bro. They said, nah, fuck this shit. We shut it down. We shut it down.
Hey, bro, there's no sequel coming. Come on.
No, bro, there's no sequel, man.
They're going to reboot The Flash now.
Oh, my God.
You know what's fucked? Is that now they're going to reboot The Flash. They're going to recast him. It's going to be a new thing. It's going to be a whole new thing. And they're going to make Flash Elseworlds. And the argument is, well, this movie reset the DC universe.
That's true, man. Right? No, but no, man.
And George Clooney is Batman at the end, meant nothing.
Man, James Gunn, bro, you're my dog, but you a bitch, man. James Gunn, bro, James Gunn is like, yo, man, this is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Man, he just wanted people to go see it, man.
I know.
But I get it, though. He's a fucking head of DC,
he
bro.
Can't talk shit about it.
Yeah, he can't say anything.
Even Kevin Feige, Kevin Feige does his own thing with Marvel.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. So, you know what, James Gunn? You're still my dog, man.
But anyways, what do you think? Back to my point.
Oh.
You think that's something that movies do a lot? Where it's like, oh,
Yes.
we know that the
bro.
fans
You're right.
want to see something, so we're gonna keep it. Like this motherfucker, Andy Muschietti. He's like, well, we know that the most obvious choice for a Flash villain is Reverse Flash, so we're gonna keep him in a sequel. Yeah. What? Why? I don't get that. That's like,
bro.
I know what you mean. I don't understand why y'all would want to. I don't understand how you guys like know that as fans we want to see something, and your mentality is we're gonna keep it to the sequel, and it's like, why, bro? For example, I never saw this movie because I heard it was trash. But
which one?
They tried to reboot G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay.
And they came out with that standalone Snake Eyes movie.
Oh yeah, I remember
like a
that.
year or two ago or whatever. And the Snake Eyes movie, it was a reboot, and it was supposed to be the origins of Snake Eyes.
Okay.
And you know how Snake Eyes has that classic black ninja suit where like the visor is like it looks like glasses, like it just looks like a glass, and it has the all black suit.
It looks like a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
I know what you're talking about. I know.
So I never saw the movie, but I heard that Snake Eyes. First of all, Snake Eyes also is a quiet. He always wears the suit. He never reveals his face, and he's always silent. And this movie, he always shows his face, and he's always talking. So people were like, "What the fuck?" But either way, that's not the point. The point is that I heard that in this movie, like he goes through the entire movie fighting the bad guys and doing his own thing in like regular military gear.
Okay.
And, like he fights with the swords and shit, but he's just in military gear. And at the end of the movie, they're like, "Oh, by the way, I got you some." Opens the briefcase, and it's the Snake Eyes suit. And the movie ends. The last shot is him putting on the suit, and he presses the button. The visor goes, and then black screen.
Hey, really quickly, hold that real quick. For someone who didn't watch the movie, you sure do know a lot about it, man. Like, what the fuck? Bro, hey, that's one thing with Hav, bro. That's one thing with Javi that I've noticed, bro. He's like, hey, man, I haven't seen the movie, but... And he just goes crazy and says all these different things. He's like, what the fuck, dude? Oh, my God. It's funny as hell. But, okay, I know what you mean.
It's because I look up spoilers for movies that I'm
okay, I got you.
I'm just like, all right, so, like, what happened in this movie?
But what I guess wouldn't the counter argument to that would be like, so they could drag on the series for more to make a trilogy. You know what I mean? Because what they did with Snake Eyes, I guess people would have been more hyped for the next movies. Oh shit! You know what I mean?
Got his suit.
Yeah, same with Carnage.
it's still
and
like,
you know what I mean?
it still
Like,
doesn't make sense because it's like
they want
I
the
don't.
trilogy.
I just hate that they keep egging us on, bro.
Yeah.
Like I hate that
And
it's like y'all know what we want to see and y'all like, yeah, well you're not gonna get it.
I know what you mean. I'm
And
finna
it's
do
like,
my own thing.
It's like what the fuck. Bro?
That's what
Like,
people.
what
That's
are
what
you
they do.
doing?
Like when even when with studios when they take like big IPs, like even for Halo or like Resident Evil,
Yeah.
all these different things, like, and they make a show. They stray away from the source material and they say, oh, we want to do our own thing. We want to do our own creative spin on it, like whatever. You know, for example, like with Halo, right? We didn't even play the games. We want to do our own thing. Then how about make your own thing, motherfucker?
yeah,
Why,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Why connect that? Like same with Resident Evil, same with all these different things. It's like,
Yeah,
what
bro.
why do they do that? Hey, we know y'all fucking love this shit. And like instead of like what The Last of Us, they took from the source material, but they changed a few things that honestly are like arguably some things were better, you know. So like why can't they? And now they know when you do that, when you follow close to the source material and you change a few things and you're able to, you know, change a few things and do your own thing or whatever, the reception is like amazing, right? People love it. So why can't these motherfuckers just understand, like, all right, you know what, guys, maybe we shouldn't do on some Miles Morales type shit. Well, nah, I'm finna do my own thing, right? And you know, and actually, you know, take from the source material and, you know, switch a few things up and shit. Like The Last of Us was legit a perfect example. It's probably one of the greatest adaptations of from show for live action to like a movie or anything. Honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, man, I know what you mean. How like they just egging you on, and they're like, we know what the audience wants, but like, nah, we ain't gonna give it to you just yet. Like,
We're gonna keep it till the sequel.
Right.
And it's like,
and it's not even good enough.
And
like,
it's like,
and then when they do it, it's not even good. It's like not as good at it.
that's like it's like getting a Spider-Man movie,
yeah.
but like the entire movie is just him in his homemade suit.
And then at the end of the movie,
and at the very end of the movie, he gets the classic red and blue suit, and it's like, you know, I would have loved to have seen this an hour ago.
That's facts, bro. That's fucking facts.
It's like, what is it with Hollywood studios being like, you know what, bro? We know what the fans want to see, so you're not gonna get it. It's like, what?
That's fucking facts, bro.
So fuck that, bro. I don't fuck with that shit. I don't know why they do that. Like, why did the director think to himself, let's keep Reverse Flash as the villain for the second movie?
It ain't even coming up,
bro. For real, bro. Not even the CW show did that.
Oh, for real?
No.
Oh, shit.
The CW show was more aware. They're like, oh yeah, we know that Flash's arch enemy is Reverse Flash. Let's have him be the villain in the first season. That's that's who they want to see. Reverse Flash was the villain in the first season.
That's pretty cool.
In season 2, it was a different speedster. In season 3, it was a different one. 4 and 5, and at this point, I've lost track of who the villains are and shit. But they knew, they're like, the Flash's arch nemesis is Reverse Flash. We know the fans want to see it, so he is going to be the main villain of the first season. We're not gonna like make them wait till season 2 type bullshit.
Fuck. Okay.
Fuck no. They even knew that. And so, for me, like, I got my Flash versus Reverse Flash arc with the CW show, like already type of thing, because I already saw it. But also because they were self-aware, they knew, they're like, the fans want to see him. He's going to be the main villain. And I can understand with like, okay, Christian Bale Batman. It's like, well, why wasn't Joker the villain in the first Batman movie? Everyone clearly wants to see Joker. That's what the fans want.
Yeah.
But I feel like it makes more sense because Batman was just starting out to be Batman. And it only made sense that if he's going to be trained by Ra's al Ghul, because it's an origin movie, that the villain would only be Ra's al Ghul. That makes more sense. So if you like come up with a story-based like thing where like it makes sense, then I get it. That's why my issue is like, well, Reverse Flash wasn't in the Flash movie. But story-based wise, like you said, logically, wouldn't Barry want to know who killed his mom, and that's how he plays a factor?
That's so stupid of me, bro. I don't know. That's so stupid. It's like you see your mom stabbed, dead. You find out you could go back in time, and you go back in time to make sure she don't forget the tomatoes, but you don't want to see who killed her. Like, what the fuck? But whatever, man. Hopefully that answers your questions. God damn, we're over 2 hours. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, shit.
No. Listen, me and Hav could do this all day, man. We could just fucking talk, but yeah, we don't want to drag this out for too long. But hopefully that answered your questions. Thank you guys. that's gonna be it. That's gonna be our mini discussion, I guess. Too plus the reviews of 2 episodes of Secret Invasion. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Peace.